Let me know the audio's okay. I hope everybody's doing great. I finally am starting to feel better. I got the energy. But anyways, in the meanwhile, while I've been gone, have you been noticing what has been happening to the economy? Are we there? Is it going to stick around? I don't know. I guess we're going to see, aren't we? It's going to be interesting. But this was kind of one of those things I've been wanting you guys to prepare for and get ready for. And I've had a lot of you fine men and women email me and some text. Sorry about the bumpy bump. And oh, hey, by the way, thanks for the like. But we have been talking about, I think I better park around back. I don't need Johnny Law to come get me. I see UPS was here at the shop. We'll go inside if I can get in there. Even for the shop, we like our multi-code. We love our multi-code. Tony's in the house. What's up, Tony? Love me some Tony. We need some Tanner. We need some Rich B. We need some Kevin. We need some Freeze. We need some people in the house. Oh, we got Mo. Is it Mo? Yeah, Mo's here. That's right. That's awesome. Sorry about this. I'm gonna get staged up here in the shop. I think I brung my fan. But yeah, I've been talking to Cap a little bit, and I think he's been saying some stuff too, that he's a little bit nervous that some of the big boys have slowed down a little bit. Not so many bids, which is typical. I got to get this one guy on that does. He's done garage doors for years, and maybe one of you guys can explain it in this video, so we can help myself out and others. And I remember his name was Jay. Jay's a cool dude. Like I said, I haven't talked to him in a while. He's another garage door company around here. He does a lot of. He'd be right up there with like. Got a buggy. He'd be right up there with like Tanner. He does big egg stuff, big stuff. But what I'm thinking is, what he always told me, he said there was seasonalities. And when I was kind of green into it, I didn't really know what he meant. I'm pretty sure I got it kind of down now about the seasonalities is what he meant. It wasn't really talking about like fall, winter. He wasn't a nutshell, but what he was trying to explain to me was like, you know, it's like I learned from a builder, right? A builder once told me, he said, hey, he says, man, he says it happens every time we get the election year, right? The big dogs don't do stuff. They don't make no moves. They don't know, man, the AC feels good in there. They don't know if they're gonna, you know, if they're gonna go Republic, they're gonna go Demis. They, you know, it's like they want to know. The big dogs want to know before they invest their money in which way the economy's gonna go. And honestly, you know, I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on it, to what you think, because I'm still trying to figure this out. So this might be a good video, good live to talk about it a little bit, you know, because I keep thinking, man, if Mr. T gets in there, trust me, I got Mr. T on my shoulder. I'm hoping he's going to make it. But I'm also, ooh, the lights are so dim. Why? One's got a bulb out. What's up with these guys? Well, I guess I'm the landlord. I got to take care of this stuff, right? Yeah, they got to warm up still. But, you know, if Mr. T, I keep trying to think in the future, right? Because I never thought they would ever get this far with stuff, you know, kind of like the whole, when the buildings went down and no weapons of mass destruction. And then, you know, when the cough syndrome, that was a good one. That was a good one. That one had me peeing in my pants too. But I keep wondering if Mr. T makes it, what if there's a huge inflation? Because let's think about this. You know, September, they're talking about the rate cuts. And I don't know if people are going to get goofy on these houses. I can't believe the houses haven't gone down in price yet. It's ridiculous. I feel sorry for a lot of these younger generations. It's horrible. I'm sitting here ranting. Bring the old Milwaukee fan just in case. Like I said, I'm still not totally out of the range of sickness, but I'm on the downhill slope here. So what's Mo says? How do we prepare to survive and thrive? Well, I think you got to hunker down. I went through this really good back in the '06. Like I said, when I first started out. Ooh, right there. I got another price cut. I wonder if I can click on it. I might lose you guys. I keep getting these price cuts on houses. Price cut after price cut after price cut. So houses are definitely not selling. The realtors are not probably liking that at all because they get commission off of it. So, drunk Bubba. So, I mean, I would start tightening the belt right now if you haven't already. If you're going to make a purchase on a vehicle or something, go for something that's a little bit on the gas saver. Maybe don't make any big purchases with the vehicles right now because obviously the market's flooded. Isn't it nuts? Isn't it nuts to think about how flooded the market, or how little there was on the market not too long ago? A couple years ago, 2, 3, 4 years ago? There was nothing. It was like almost to the point like you're going to your dealerships, you're passing them on the road, and you're just like biting your fingernails like, oh my gosh, they don't have no trucks. Oh my gosh, they have no vans. And you'd see one pop up, and you'd be like, oh my gosh, there's one. I should stop and get it. And it'd be gone like the next day. Or you see what they were charging, and they're charging like $10,000, $20,000 over the list price. And you're like, screw that. I can't afford that. So, like I said, for us, I don't know if it's going to be this round. The residential really took a dive back in the whole '06, '08 stuff going on. So you just got to really hunker down and hope, and the thing is the jobs they're not out there like they say they are, or you want them to be, or they're just not. So you just got to watch it. That's the big thing. You got to hunker down. You got to find some cost savings. I think Tony, you should put in the comments, Tony, if you want to. I don't want to spill the beans. This was your department, but Tony found a good bargain through a service, and he might want to share it. It might be something. He might not either. He might want to keep it all to himself, which I totally understand. But he's got a lead that I think is good, and I'd like to know more about it. I was talking to him a little bit about it. Got to get you in the holster so I can settle you down a little bit here. Dun, dun, dun. Unknown. Who says Uncle T? So we got Uncle Dave. We got Uncle T now. We got Shane. Sean. Is it Sean? You want to hope Mr. T gets in, or I'll have Mr. P garden. It's hard to say. The thing is, we got to remember that. What is this? The thing is that no matter what, and this is kind of my prediction, right? My prediction is we're going to go on this. We're going, baby. We're going. I don't know for how long or whatever, right? Too little, too late. It's always that way. I think they do it on purpose, honestly. I think it stimulates. I think it works good for the banks. They like to have repos. They can, you think about it, right? The concept of it. Think about how you can, oh, and by the way, thanks for the likes. Holy cow. How do we do this? I see $1.99. It shows like, is that Canadian? Or is that a different one? I don't know why it showed up. Well, I don't know what that is, but thanks for the $1.99. I don't know. What do I do? Put a heart by it? There you go. Love you. I don't even know what it says. But anyways, $1.99. There you go. Appreciate it. I think I got something working. But anyways, I really appreciate the likes. You don't need to offer anything. Like I said, my service is free. I just want you to help yourself to help me. You know what I mean? Because you guys are a really good source of information. You guys give me all kinds of stuff, text and pictures and ideas and stuff that I honestly, I couldn't install enough stuff to know what's all going on, with this network here. And so I really appreciate it. Got a little buggy here, little spider. I just got him. Ew, he was gross. He's the smallest one I've ever seen. American Kid. Oh, wow, that's cool. Do you have a good day? It's been a good day. Hot flashes. I'm still sick, but I'm better. I can at least move. A couple days ago, I thought I was calling an ambulance because wasn't doing so hot. Oh, unknown. He says, if you had 1K to invest, how would you invest it? I'm asking for me. If I had 1K, what would I do with 1K? I don't know. 1K. It's definitely not a lot, but it's something. I guess it all depends on kind of what you want to do. You know, I keep getting these feedback from you guys about these seminars and stuff. I wouldn't invest into the seminars and stuff like that. Hey, I see Rusty emailed me. What's up? Thanks for the email. I'll get to you when I can. Sorry, so I'm on a live. I can't do it all, man. I'm just a one man band. And anywho, but 1K. I'm not really sure. It depends on that. That question can be like, what are you trying to do? Are you going to do business, or I've always looked at, you can kind of invest in yourself. You can invest in tools, right? If you're doing business, starting out in business, you need some power tools, and it's not that if you already got some, this is not the time to go, you know what, I got to get me some Milwaukee because I got Ryobi. Stick with your Ryobi. They work, they do the job. If you're going to invest it, I don't know exactly with what right now. I know a lot of things are kind of on the going down a little bit, which is not always bad. Good time to buy, right? Maybe some, I tell you what you do is you watch some Minority Mindset guy. He's a YouTuber. He's got some really good stuff about investing and stuff like that. Find some guys like that can do some good, where you can invest your money. And, but obviously you got to, how that's a loaded question, because if that's your emergency fund, you don't do that. You got to keep that right now because things are not looking so good. You might have an engine blow up, a hot water tank go out, things of that nature. Hello, computer. Must be listening to me. But like I said, keep them coming. Keep them coming. You can ask whatever you want. I think this is great. Let's see. Sean, he says save it. Oh, somebody's got, hey daddy. Wow. Getting so freaky. Patrick, what's good, guys? Patrick, I've been thinking about you. You had the openers, I believe. You had like 3 or 4 of them lined up. You get those things installed yet? You want me to come down there and help you install them? The money, unknown, he says the money is losing its value to save it. That is true. Because you have to think, right? If you had $100 back in the day, right? Back in the 1950s, that's a lot of money. And then, if you think about $100 now, right? You go into the store and just blink, and it's like, my dad always used to tell me we used to have Menards. Well, we do have Menards. Menards was always the $100 store. It might be more like called now the $200 or $300 store because it's got mighty expensive. Peaches? Is that like a thing? Oh, the water tastes good. So glad to be alive. So good to be breathing air. What is going on here? Anything you want. You bring up the questions. We'll try to fire them out and see what we can do. What does it say? Shadow? Loose? Is it Sal? I don't know. AJ? Tony. He says, I'll share it when I get out of the shower. He's got to jump shower quick. I love it, man. Tony always keeps it real. He keeps it real. He's a good dude. Tiny spider. That's right. Yeah, there you go. Is it keto? He says freaking groceries. Yeah, that's about it. It's super expensive, man. It's super expensive. I've gone out a few times now with the family, a little bit extended family, and holy moly, I don't think either time it was under $100. We're talking like somewhere between $120 to $176, and it almost feels like highway robbery when you see what you should technically do as a tip. And I'm all about it. Obviously, if they do a good job, which for the most part, these places that we went to, they did a good job. So I was more than happy. But you're sitting there and you're like, my goodness, we only been here for, whatever, an hour and a half. They're making, 20, 30, 40 bucks. It's like, gets to be a little expensive. So it's definitely, I like that. Anthony says, vote Trump. That's right. I don't know. Sometimes I still have a hard time. Like I said, I'm definitely going to seal the deal that it's not an election, it's a selection. If there's no, if for some reason he doesn't pull it off, if they don't take him out of the equation, which let's hope not. Hope they don't take anybody out of the equation. But man, I tell you, I don't know. We'll see. But I also wonder if it's kind of a, because he'll darn well say, well, they left me a mess. You know what I mean? They left me a mess, right? How's he do it? They left me a mess, and we got to fix this. But I believe he's the one that could do it the fastest, honestly. So, you know what I mean? Like he can. I kind of always look at it like a coach, right? You guys watch your football games or sports or whatever, and you got to have a good coach, right? A good coach can make a team go a long ways. What do you guys think about the Olympics? I haven't even watched it. I don't even know what to think of it. I see little memes or whatever, little blips, and I just go, I don't even want to watch it. And I just go, it's sad. I go, I don't know. What do you guys think about it? Is it Mother Dragons? Oh, that's cool. It says, do you have any, is it reptiles cause, like if you hook someone who have reptiles? I don't know. Buy XRP. Maybe. I hear about it. I don't know about a lot of XRP. I'm not a real expert on that. I'm kind of more like for the mutuals, or if you don't want to do your find something that you can do if you don't want to do certain investing. That's just my kind of. I don't know. He says, let's go. It says official Trump fan page. Ooh, look at that. It says, let's go Trump. Nice. Love it. Love it. Keto, he says, who's your daddy? Come on. Keep it clean. Oh, he's one of those moderators. They'll wipe you out. They think you're being dirty. All right, what do we got here? So Sean, do you think it's better to sell cheaper to keep busy? Yeah. I've felt like in the business that you have to adjust your prices accordingly. Unfortunately, that's what I've kind of noticed in business. You guys let me know what you think. It's business is really tough, just in general, in good times and bad times. Good times are a lot easier it's easier to cover it up. But what happens is you do have to, what I've noticed in business is what kind of happens, right, is like for us, we just kind of shut it off. And what I've thought about doing is I thought, well, what they should do, I thought about running a past cap, is not shut off the residential, but shut off the residential service. So you shut off the residential service, but you keep it open for new doors and new openers. Because what happens with residential service is it's so like now, right? Something breaks and you're nothing, right? Now you're the fireman, you're the fire extinguisher, right? And they're calling and they're like, oh, my spring broke, I can't get my car out. And for somebody that doesn't really have much work, that's a great thing. You can charge extra. You could be like, well, I can be out there 20, 30 minutes to get you taken care of. But I think in these times, like I said, if for us, like I said, residential just goes to the wayside. Commercial stays premier. But in a nutshell, yeah, I think the prices, your prices do have to adjust to what's happening, depending on how it's such a hard game to play sometimes. And that's why I've talked about it a little bit before. We haven't really gone down the rabbit hole because kind of people don't seem interested in it. But it's like I talk about sometimes like with the commercial and maybe the bigger jobs, and they're easier to forecast out a little bit. There's more money, that you're putting up, but you can kind of schedule it a little better than the residential. It's like you're just sitting around a phone all day waiting for it to ring. And it seems like I've always noticed this in retail too. Like when I used to work at a tire change, oil change, like people would come in like threes and fours. You know what I mean? It was like, it wouldn't be like one car here, another car here, maybe two here. It'd be like, you'd be sitting around for 30, 45 minutes. You're like, the heck are we going to do today? You already swept the floor, and all of a sudden, brrr, car come in, here come two more or three more, and you're like, oh, now you're slammed, right? And that's kind of how it works with the garage doors even. It's like, it seems like, you might get one broken spring, and then it's like, bam, bam. What's always been weird to me is I've actually got them before where they're like in the same area, which really throws me off for a lot of times. Because when I used to answer the phone, I would notice it, but I don't notice it so much because I don't answer the phone anymore. But I'd notice, I'd be answering the phone, I'd be like, affordable door. People would be like, yeah, I got a broken spring. And I'm like, you're like literally 2 roads over. Like, okay, yeah, we can get there today. I don't know if I should tell them or don't tell them. I'm just around the corner, actually. What are you doing, stalking me? Burger King has charged to Burger King. Booger. Slimy yet satisfying. Oh, man. Yeah, it's I was just listening. I guess McDonald's is talking about extending. They got a $5 meal. I haven't seen it. They're talking about extending it. I don't know. Have you seen the $5 meal? I don't even know what it is. I haven't seen it. Matthew says Olympics this year was inspirational. After every 2 meals, I get one for free. Really? I don't think. Michigan stock investors, self-employed, lawn care. Nice. Fishermen? I don't know. Not me. Oh, we got Tanner's finally here. Tanner, where you been, man? You been sleeping on the job. Evening, Dave. He says, staying cool over there. Yeah, it's been super hot. We finally got a relief today. Today was actually somewhat of the humidity went down, but still right about 88 degrees, I think is what the weatherman said. So it looks like a little bit later in the week it's going to cool down, which is going to be a huge blessing for everybody because it's been just hot and muggy. I know the air conditioner has been running a tremendous lot. I'm scared to see the electric bill, honestly. He says, I'm new here. Awesome, Keto. East Tennessee conspiracy mind Christian Army vets sawmill. Holy cow, that's a lot to be. Matthew Adams, this year Olympics ceremony is the most powerful thing I witnessed in my life. Wow, that's just fine and dandy. Patrick, what you got? What's the usual profit margins for residential? He says, I've heard if you concentrate on installing, those margins will be lower than if you just concentrate on repair. Ooh. Boy, I could use like Tony or Tanner or Rich or somebody else. I don't know. It's always kind of a hard thing. I've kind of in my head, it depends on the situation, the customer, the job, the scope of the work, how far the job is away. Because in my mind, it's like sometimes it's a 10% margin, sometimes it's a 20%, and then there's kind of a 30%. And I always kind of wanted to have it set up where it was like I tell a secretary, depending on the job scope or what the customer was, they're on a tier, right? Like what they did with us through this place. They had like their A, B, and C pricing, right? And you kind of give them the A, B, or C pricing depending on the customer, right? Because I believe that a loyal customer should get kind of a better pricing to some degree, depending on the scope of the work, how far away it is, and all that kind of stuff, right? And oh, hey, by the way, thanks for the likes. It just helps bring more people in, so thank you for hitting the like button. But it all kind of seems like it depends, and like you have to negotiate on the fly, especially if you're kind of a one-man band, right? I didn't really practice it. I was always kind of worried about being called out about it. And honestly, I look at it now and I think I would be a little bit more free with it. Like, let's say like a broken spring, right? I might add another 50 or $100 on top of it, depending on what the workload is, depending on what the customer situation is, depending if we're available. Because it's kind of like, I look at it like it's a convenience. And I look at it kind of like the airliners, right? If they said, you know what, my spring broke, I want to schedule it for 2 or 3 weeks out, well, not a problem. I'll give you a better price. I'll do it for a cheaper price, honestly. But you're calling me in a, a panic situation that, you know how it is with broken springs. Like if you can't make it there within whatever, sometimes couple hours, next day, they're not going to wait, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. It just typically doesn't happen that way. So, yeah, I look at it like that convenience factor, right? The grocery store, right? Or the convenience store. You go in a convenience store, you pay more for milk in the convenient than you do the grocery store. So, but you guys you're more welcome to help throw in anything that you got on that. Because like I said, I'm not, you know, let's see, Sean, he says, he just sent an email. And I hope I say it right. I asked the wife, it's Sean, and I always look at it as a Shane. I'm sorry. So Sean, and I'm glad I got some emails back to you right away because I apologize sometimes when I don't. Where did I lose my spot? Oh, stay cooler. I'm New Tennessee. Says this year Olympics. Is there the most powerful thing? What's the usual profit margin? Yes, we discussed. Just did my first Coachman Z door this week, and holy heck, he says it was heavy but so cool. Z, if you get a chance, if you can shoot me an email, which I do put in the description below, or if you want, you can always text it to me. If you got any pictures of it, I don't think I know what the Coachman. That's not coming to my. Is that Clope? Coachman? I'm not sure what that is. But you can always shoot me a text too. If you need my number, just let me know. I'm just here surfing live feeds on the next one. On to the next one. Thanks, Keto. We'll have a good one. We like having here. Freeze. What's up, Freeze? Oh, what's he got? Hi, Dave. He says, wondering if you were going live tonight. Well, I'm here, buddy. I wasn't really I just felt good enough to do it. And I thought if I'm feeling good enough and I'm sucking air, let's do it, baby. Because the last few days, like I said, I had some sinus thing happen. I had a lot of phlegm in me. Sean, perfect. That's the way I need to see it. He just says Irish spelling. Got it. Perfect. And so, anywho, I had the sinus going on bad, man. And up on this side, it was locked up. It felt like it basically had a turd in there. It wouldn't free up. It was impairing my breathing. And then I got a video come out with some fencing. I know you guys don't really like fencing, but I was working out late with the wife. And I was lifting up some rolls of fabric that were a little on the heavy side because it's 8-foot tall fencing. And I strained myself, and I must have gotten something right here, in my chest that spasmed or something. And I tell you what, I was losing, it would spasm and hurt so bad. It was causing me to lose, have shortness of breath. And oh man, I was not doing good. I actually got to a point where I thought I was going to faint. I had to faint, take a crap. I thought I was having a heart attack, and I couldn't breathe. All in the same atmosphere. And yeah. So anywho, but luckily I'm doing better now. So I'm on the mend. Says just busy, lots of doors installs. It just took off about a few weeks ago, and I broke my thumb. Oh, I remember the thumb. So it's harder to add comments to the chat right now. I gotcha. I'll take it easy on Tanner. I'll take it easy. I understand, man. I tell you, man. That's why it's one of those things for a lot of people. It's a good reminder about your health. You got to have your health, man. You ain't got your health, you ain't got nothing. You can have a ton of money. You can have all the boats, the houses, the yachts. You can have toys, ATVs, all that kind of stuff. You ain't got your health. You can't ride them. You know what I mean? You can't do nothing with it. So that's why it's so important to take care of, have your health, man. And so like right now I feel like a new spring chicken because I can move, I can breathe. Because like I said a couple days ago, it wasn't looking so good. I was trying to figure out what the heck was going on with me. This is my Patrick's guy. This is my reason for asking about margins. Patrick, you always got good questions. Guys at Contract Installs claims 25 to 35% margin, while guys who, concentrate on repairs claim 50 to 7 profit margins. Why? What? Is that you, Tanner, sending me something? I see a thumbs down. I can't see the picture. What say you? Well, you got to remember, you got to think about it. So here's kind of a good scenario. I had a guy that worked here, and he always told me, he goes, if I ever started my own garage door business, he said I'd do just garage door springs. And I was like, okay. And he's like, think about it. And I'm like, okay. I'm so busy with work. I'm just like, I don't know. And somebody goes, think about it. He goes, you go do a garage door spring, a broken spring for a customer. He goes, how long does it take you? I said, I don't know. You get on the job. I said, it can be 15, 20, 45 minutes. Just all depends on the customer. And if you got to say hi to Fluffy and you got to go in through the house to get to the garage, or if there's a man door or there's clutter in the way. So whatever, 20, 45 minutes. And he's like, exactly. He's like, and think about it. He's like, the spring's like what? At the time, it was like 30, 40 bucks. Now they're about 60 bucks. And he goes, you're charging, 250, 300, 400 bucks, right? And I'm like, he's like, think about, and he's like, and you're just doing the spring. And he's like, think about how little of stuff you're dealing with. And he's totally right with it when you think about it, right? If you just got springs and you're just a spring guy and you're making those margins, which I don't know exactly the calculation of it is, but I know they're better, and you're only there for the time of 20 to 45 minutes and you go on to the next one, it's very good margins. But it's hard to keep things rolling, and that's kind of what you run into with residential is like, because you think about it, like if you like honestly, now I've been doing this for so many years, like when you think about it, when you think about residential garage doors, that's stupid. Why is it stupid? Because you think about all the time, like you got to unload it from a semi, right? These are things I never thought about. I gotta wait here at the shop, right? I gotta wait here at the shop. I gotta watch the camera. Oh, I gotta watch the camera. Gotta wait for this truck. I wanted to say something else. Truck doesn't show up on time. It's 15 minutes late. It's 30 minutes late. It's 2 hours late. I'm not getting paid for that. I don't get paid for that. You know what I mean? So this truck shows up. Finally, you got to unload it, right? Let's say the truck driver is not that nice to it. Maybe one of your guys isn't that nice to it. When you unload it, you got to bring it to the shop. Now you got to store it, right? Now it might be a couple days. It's taking up space, right? Oh, we finally schedule it with Mrs. Jones. We got to load this thing up into a van or to a truck. We got to be really careful with it. We can't break the glass. We can't scratch it. We got to take care of it. Then we got to travel with it, right? Now we got to have something sticking out of our vehicle. Maybe it's on your roof rack, could fly off if you didn't strap it, or one of your guys didn't strap it right. It's sticking out of the back of the van. One of my guys got pulled over by the state trooper, got a ticket, no flag on it, came back, put a flag on it, because it was, I think is the law. You guys let me know what your law is, but it's 3 foot past the taillight. So you take it to Mrs. Jones, right? You go to install it. You got to take out the old door. What do you do with this old door? Got this crap to deal with, right? You got to scrap it, or it's a wood door. You got to dissect it and you got to chop it up in pieces, right? Then you got to install the door. You install the door. Everything's going good. Holy shnikes, there's a freaking dent on this thing. Oh my gosh. And I can already see some of the comments. Oh, my vendor pays for it. Oh, good. I'm glad you got time to do all the paperwork and send all the, and most times the vendors will actually send you out a new one, right? But how do you do all that? Especially when you're slammed, so now you got to go out there, you eat it. You got to go back out there. And of course, it could be on a bad panel, right? It could be in the middle of the panel. It could be, it's not the top section, so it's really easy. It's the bottom panel, it's more complicated. So you think about it, and then you got it, like I said, then you're done with the job for the day. Then you got to, now your van or your truck's a mess, and you had to use some nuts and bolts that maybe you weren't expecting, right? So you got to restock that. You got to take care of the cardboard. You got to take care of the foam. You got to dispose of the door. And some people either throw them on the ground and scrap them later. So it's got to get handled again. Or they use a scrap hopper like we do, or they put them into a trailer. There's a lot that goes into it. So it's like, when you think about it, and if you probably did all the math on it, you probably go, dang, yeah, I could probably make better money just doing spring jobs. I should just become the spring wizard. And I just carry around, I get my truck all set up to be a spring. I charge a premium, right? Because it's like the insurance companies, right? It's funny, an ambulance is going by right now. It's that emergency, right? That's God. God's talking to me. Am I preaching right? Anyways, so it's that emergency that you're thriving on, right? Oh my God, my car's stuck. I gotta go to the doctor's, but I gotta pick my kid up from school. You don't understand. Okay, I can be there. I'll be there in 20 minutes. You're probably looking at $300-400. You know what I mean? You're there for 20 minutes. You got a little spring set up on your gizmo, your truck, your van, right? You get them all set up. You spray everything down with some oil. You put a sticker on there for future, if you want to do doors or whatever, future for them for the neighbors or whoever. You got one little spring. You got to scrap. It's a nice little chunk of metal. It's good for scrap value, right? It's compact. You don't have to worry about it being scratched. You don't have to worry about it being dented. Because I never ever had a customer call me back and go, my spring's got a scratch on it. Waste management. Sean was asking about waste management. We got a scrap hopper and we got a dumpster out back. That's what we do for our scrap or for our waste. So yes, Patrick, in a nutshell, it is probably better. There probably is better margin. Depends. You know what I mean? I don't know if it can be that way with like openers, maybe like cables, springs. What else is there? You know what I'm saying? Like, like these openers now are just getting to a point where it's like, if they say something's wrong with the opener, you might as well pack another one in the truck and just bring one with you. You know what I mean? And go, yep, it's got some malfunction to it, or you can't just fix it with a quick photo eyes or something simple. Throw it away like a Bic lighter. Got another one though, if you want in the truck here. I can install it for whatever, $300-400, whatever you charge, and you go on, that's the stuff right there, those trips, man. Because if you go there and you look at it and you go, yeah, it needs an opener, blah, 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 right? That's the problem. The doors were already open. You already had your access there. They already called into work possibly. They already said they're not coming into work today, right? The door's there. And that's where it gets complicated a little bit. And then you got to remember, like with an opener too, right? Openers have more complexity to them versus the springs. Not the springs, if you don't know what you're doing, can screw up too, but the sliding van door bit. Ooh, Tanner, that darn van. Well, hey man, you want to get rid of that van? That's a pretty sweet van. I got probably 50. I could probably go up to $100. I could take it off your hands, man. You let me know. I'll take that van off your hands. That sucks though, getting it stuck, man. Ooh, that would be hurt. I don't know if I've ever got it into a door yet. I'm trying to think of my worst finger. I think my worst finger one was really just when I did the springs. They have the right winding bars. I think that was the worst time I messed up with my hands. At least with my fingers, I should say. I think it was actually my thumb too for that spring. Sean, what you got? It says, doesn't matter what you sell if you don't take, was it piss people, he says, come back, but works both ways. That's true. That is true. I carry two different types, Harmon and a cheaper. I didn't read last. I seen that one part. Eric, what's guy Eric? Says, today someone wanted to get their brand new LiftMaster 84504S. These numbers are getting crazy. He said connected to their cellular phone so they can connect them to their cameras. And he says, shit, he says the first machine was nice, and the second one refused to connect to the app. Oh man, that's just, it's like, that's why some of this tech stuff, I kind of like, I go, I'm out. I'm not a big tech guy. Can I figure out my own stuff? Yeah. But when it comes to everybody else's, this stuff has got so many ghosts in it sometimes, glitches. I uploaded a video today. Never had no problems really. Twice it did a weird, wasn't going to upload. I had to shut the computer down, scared like it was going to delete everything. Luckily, everything was still there. Resubmitted it. This stuff has a lot of ghosts in it that we don't understand. At least I don't. Like, I don't know. You know, nobody still can tell me how you get the best results out of Google. I mean, you can spend all this money. I see people that spend all this money on Facebook. I'm getting people from other states for garage door ads. And I'm like, I want to almost like message them and say, hey, you know that you're 2 states over, you know, and I want to message them. Could you come over and change my garage door spring? You're advertising in my state of Michigan here. You know, and I'm like, but they're getting the clicks for them, right? We got you this many clicks, and the person's just spending all this money going, I'm just not seeing the results. I don't understand why, but I'm getting 1 million clicks a month. What's going on? Yeah, they're out of state. So that's crazy. But I remember when we had that home link thing going on with those repeaters. I still remember that guy. When they ended up, they wanted that repeater, and I got 2 openers to link to one. I think it was repeater. I think that's how I did it. And I remember LiftMaster sent out a memo. I got it like a week later, and it says you cannot program these to 2 units to whatever. And I'm like, huh. I was kind of like, I did it. And guess what? I kid you not. Like 2 days later, I get a phone call from that guy, and he's like, hey, he's like, my remote quit working. And I'm like, oh, fudge. Like, I'm like, and I mean, all the guy knows what to say, right, is when I get there. And I sold him some premium openers at the time. Nice belt drives, LiftMaster, whatever, you know. And he was that guy that was like, you know, the whole time he's like, are you feeding me crap? Or are you telling me the truth? And I'm like, no, these are really nice openers. You'll be really happy with them. Last a long time. I see you take really good care of your place. You got Jaguars. I mean, like, you know, everything is mucho, mucho. Let's get you something mucho, mucho. And I just remember him saying, first thing he goes, man, he's like, their remote quit working. He's like, for my son's car. He's like, I thought you sold me something good. And I mean, I was just like, that's like when I wanted to punch somebody in the face through LiftMaster, the engineers. And I wanted to be like, why do you guys got to keep flipping with everything? You know, because once you get into a rhythm, right, this shouldn't be a problem, right? To program it, you know, then it's like I'm sitting there and I go, so I got him battery backup. And he's got that repeater that's plugged into the outlet. And I'm going, if he loses power, the battery backup's not going to work. So he has to actually carry the original remote in his glove box. So I got to explain all this to him. That I'm like, look, if the power goes out, you come home and it doesn't work, you're gonna have to go in your glove box. I know it's a Jaguar, and you're gonna have to go in the glove box. You're gonna have to get the original remote to make it work, you know. And and he wanted it programmed to his car, and I just thought, why do you gotta change stuff, you know? Why do we gotta make this so hard? Patrick Scott, he says, since you're talking about a spring guy, he says, I know a guy who's doing openers, and he says he's charging $1,500 per installation. I don't believe him. That sounds really high to me. I think you've been watching. Tanner knows the guy. Okay, garage door training school guy. There it is. Tanner's already got it. He's already ahead of me. Right, the garage door training school guy. That's the guy. Anytime. Anytime. Anytime the garage door training guy wants to meet up with Uncle Dave, let's go at it. Because I I don't know how he's sleeping at night. Like I said, I think it's I've already had some emails. I can't disclose obviously who they've been. Um, there's been a multiple people that have spent money with them that regretted spending money with the place. And supposedly it's a different. He's like the salesperson, but he doesn't run the business or something. I don't know all the details, but I hear a lot of people not real satisfied with it. And you have to understand, I could sell you, I could do an online course with you too, and I could sell you a certificate, and it's kind of like the IDA, right? The IDA has their own thing, and Sean says, "Tell them I'll show you how to fix doors," and it's normally it's just a money grab. I was kind of thinking about it. I'd say kind of like Josh inspired me in a sense. But I was thinking about it. I thought, in a sense, if you're going to spend that kind of money, I don't need to make that kind of money, right? I just need to cover my hotel, my fuel, a little bit of time. And I was thinking to myself, if you run into that, right, I'm more than happy to come down and help somebody with their business if they need it. And I can put it in my schedule and it works because it's just that kind of numbers and not have like, and the thing is like I'd rather go out to some jobs with you and like let's do some installs because that's how you're gonna learn. You know what I mean? You just repetitive motion, baby. Just get out there and do it. That last opener I did, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I had a pretty good sense. I ain't gonna lie. But you obviously see my spring went flying. I should have known that. I'm a little rusty. The photo eyes. But once you get, it's kind of like riding a bike. Just every bike has a different little, maybe gear selection, different tire size. It's kind of the same concept, right? You just kind of almost fake it till you make it, in a sense. It's not as bad as what you think, but it can be very. It can be a lot. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Like when I started out, like I said, I was the mechanical guy. My business partner was the electrical guy, and when we had to separate because somebody didn't pay us $10,000, and I had to basically run the whole ship by myself. Man, I had to be the electrical guy, and I was scared crapless. I mean, and now we look at it right, but we look at it like the wires and stuff. I was scared it was going to short out. I didn't know I just didn't know what I was doing. And now I look at it and I go, it's low voltage. You can't fry nothing. It's all pretty easy. Like it's really not that bad. And garage doors, there's a few tricks. As long as you know the tricks and what to look for, they're pretty much all the same. Just some are wider and bigger. It's just a lot of stuff. What you don't want to get into is like if you're kind of a chuck in a truck, I think sometimes you don't want to get too much in the commercial because the commercial can be where you need a second person. I mean, I'm talking like big commercial. I'm not talking like your local DPW down the road that's only got one garage door. I'm talking just multiple and stuff like that because you kind of need a crew. You need people that know what they're doing. Says, I think Californians will just pay anything. Heck yeah. That's great if they do. We need SOS. We need SOS on to tell us about that. He's a Californian. Lip says, I was charging $1,500 to install openers. I would have already quit my job at the sweet shop. Yeah, I hear you. I think they California is different though. You know what I mean? Like, so that's where it gets a little funky. But I don't know where the garage door training guy is doing his stuff out of. And a lot of these guys, like, I don't know, what's the other guy? I should reach out to him. Maybe he should reach out to me. I don't know. That was it Dabs? Some of you guys watch Dabs doors or something like that. And I don't know what these guys, I haven't watched these guys. Like I said, I don't know if they're really hyping stuff up. and so you really got to watch that stuff. You know what I mean? Because they're contracting can be very difficult. It's a very vicious. It's a very vicious cycle. You can make a lot of money, and you think you need to propel yourself into a lot of other things that are going to make you more money. You're thinking, I got to get the faster truck, I got to get the faster van, I got to get the better tools, and sometimes that's warranted. But there's times too that it's like right now when we're going into this, it can hit you pretty fast because like when you're doing some of the builders and the contractors, you don't see it so fast, but it's coming. And so you got to really be putting your feelers out with those type of people and ask them like, hey, what have you been seeing? Are you guys? And they're like, oh, we're still 3 years out. Okay, are those jobs already like they've submitted half down? They've already signed the contract. And that's not to say that they can't back out, right? But it can be illusion sometimes. But right now, with that stock market keeps tanking out, people are going to feel broke, and the residential people will tighten up more. You hear in the food industry, the restaurants and that, those are somewhat hurting, you know what I mean? And it's because people's pocketbooks are getting thinner. Recently, he says, only had to program Horman operator. That's what Sean was saying. He's got an email. I can only see little blips of it. What's Mr. Freeze got? He says, so I'm in this person's garage with this untitled Karen. I love it. And try to get their iPhone program to their opener, and I just can't get it to connect. And this person is saying, I spent $1,200 on this. Oh. That's insane. So Eric, I'm assuming, is that like somebody else installed it and then you're trying to get it to program, or is it like you did it and they're kind of upset? You know what I mean? Because I can kind of see that being a twofold, And so what is it? Isn't it like Precision? I think Tony was telling me. Was it Tony or Tanner? Somebody was telling me like Precision, right? Like they'll go on. No, I think it was Josh. I think Josh was telling me like for out of every 5 customers, there's like one that's a sucker. And so they'll just keep going on, right? Until they find that person that's like willing to bite for a $2,000 spring change, and we're going to lifetime warranty and we're going to change rollers out, when realistically for $1,200, $1,000, you get a whole new door. You know what I'm saying? So there is some people out there. It's kind of like that whole thing. Like we know those scams are out there, that thrive on old people. And there's some people out there that that's how they work. You know what I mean? They'll charge arm and a leg. Tony, I'm glad you're back. It's Patrick. He says, yeah, he says, I know about that guy. He says, my friend in San Antonio has retained several people who took his training, but I also know guys who say they're struggling, don't know how to price jobs. Yeah, it all depends. It just really depends. When it comes to the industry, you got to remember it's kind of like it'd be like me telling you, I like brunettes. You know what I mean? And I like a certain weight and I like a certain height, right? Everybody's different on what they like. You know what I mean? In business is kind of the same, right? Because, it's one of those things like, like if I was starting out, man, I'd do whatever it takes. You know what I mean? You want that opener installed for $20? I'm on it. Because if I ain't got nothing to do today, $20 is better than zero. And you know what I'm getting out of $20? I'm getting exposure. I'm getting my truck. I'm getting in the neighborhood. I'm getting to talk to Mrs. Jones, that all of a sudden she's on the phone and she's like, oh, really? Oh, really? Well, I got a guy here right now and he actually works on garage doors. Do you want me to give him your number, or, I can give you his number, right? I've noticed that in business, right? Where it's like, that's why I'm always telling you, like with the stores sometimes, right? It's like an energy. I don't know how to explain it. But if you go in like the Home Depot or something, you're wearing a shirt, you got some business cards on you, go in there and buy a few things that you need to. Look at for some nuts and screws and bolts or whatever. in just the presence of it, you might see somebody. I've seen it all the time. I've seen people in the aisles, and I've went in there, and I don't even do a sales pitch. I just do it out of the kindness of my heart, and I go, what are you trying to do here? I go, I'm a garage door guy, actually. And sometimes I've had people go, really? Like, how much would you charge to install this? Or what can you tell me about this? And I slip them a business card. Just say, hey, if you got any more questions, you know, because you got to remember that most people out here in this industry, or just in general in life right now, like, everybody's expecting something. You know what I mean? So for you to go out there and be the guy that's willing to give them some input, or just say, hey, I do it. Maybe you're looking at 20, 60 bucks, whatever. You gotta learn how to be a hustler. You know what I mean? And you gotta do whatever it takes. And you'll notice that what always happened to me, you take these jobs, especially if I did a job that was cheaper. Maybe we charge 85 for a service call. I'm doing this for 65. That would burn me sometimes. I ain't gonna lie. But I get on that job, the phone would ring with 2 other customers, and I'm like, hi. I'm like, where were you like 2 hours ago? You know what I mean? And that's kind of the pitfalls sometimes. It isn't when you don't have nothing. When you're just starting out, you're hungry, you do everything, you travel too far. You're like it's never like you had the SEX, you know what I mean? You're dying. You go anywhere for it, you know what I mean? And once you get the money flowing, and then you got to slowly tame yourself back and go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, man, I don't need the disease. I don't need to be, I don't need to be running all over the place. I spent a lot of money doing this. I got my locals. I got my local watering holes I go to. I don't know. I'm just breaking it up a little bit. Tony's back. Tony says, I do not program the smartphones. That's privacy issue. Ooh, could be. What if their stuff's on there? Oh, man, I don't know. At least that's what I tell the customer. I like that. That's a good one, Tony. Shawnee's got his. Anyone ever had a customer come onto them? Ooh, I can't say that I have. I've had a girl walk up with a towel out of the shower, but we left it at that. But, man, maybe she was looking for a discount. Didn't happen. Eric says, so I get my phone out to talk to tech support. And this woman says, where are you getting on your phone? Oh, why are you getting on your phone? And I'm trying to tell he that I need tech support. And she starts bitching about that is better. Oh, man. Tony's got, what's up, Tanner? Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, the whole, I hate to tell, I can only use, type, I'm sure, 200 characters in this message. So if it's cut up, that's fine. Tanner does it all the time. I know what he's doing when I figure it out. Nah, but that's why, I think, I don't know. Like I said, Eric, you do whatever you got to do, Mr. Freeze. I mean, like I said, I'm kind of with Tony. I think it's a privacy issue. I think it's just not worth it. I think it's just too much. There's some things that need to be left to the customer. So for instance, just kind of a little rant here. I had a customer I did a keypad for, right? And I set the whole thing up. And I already knew this was for a DPW, Department of Public Works, a commercial building. And I already knew, in the back of my head, I was like, I think I'm going to be married to this for the rest of my life. And I was until he retired. And he was a super nice guy, but every time something, a keypad or, another card needed to be added for another employee, or another employee needed to be deleted, it got to be such a nightmare. And I didn't even know how to charge it sometimes, right? A service call, sometimes I'm down there for an hour, hour and a half, hour and 10 minutes. It got to be very problematic. And then there was this company, I forget what it's called. They came out, and a storage company started using them around here, and their tech support was amazing. Amazing. They let the customers call where my keypad that I installed, only the dealers could call. And I kept going. I had a couple of customers that had even another storage unit. And so I'd go there, and I'd feel like an idiot, right? Because I sit down on the computer, and the lady would go, This is what it's doing. She'd click, 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 click. And I'd be looking at it and I go, yeah. And I mean, it takes me, it's taken me like 20, 30 minutes just to comprehend what the hell's going on again. And I'm like, okay. And I'm sitting there going, well, honestly, it sounds like you know what the hell's going on more than I do. And I remember I told tech support one time, I said, can I just let her be on the phone? I said, because she knows the system better than I do. And he's forcing me, oh, no, we can't do that. You know what I mean? And I'm like, So finally I figured out they could remote into the computer, luckily. Of course, this was one of those times where it took like 2 hours of tech support. And they're like, we can remote into it. I'm like, oh, why didn't you tell me that 2 hours ago? So every time I call them, I'm like, can you just remote into this? And I'd watch them do what they're doing and stuff. But it came to be such a problem. And so when this other company came and they could use the tech support and the customer could call and the customer could go through the whole thing. And that's where I kind of agree. Like I'm there with Tony where I'm just kind of like, you know what? You need to already get them off the nipple right away and be like, that's privacy. I don't touch that. That's not me. Because I feel like that's just one of those things they're going to call you. Like when they're on vacation or on a boat or they're away from their home or something, they're going to call you and go, my iPhone's not connected, and they might have hit the airplane mode. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, and then what are you supposed to do? Like, where if you just said, I already told you, I don't do that. It's mechanical I deal with. I don't deal with software. So I think I'm there. Oh, what's this got? What's up, Tanner? Support to carry. So it says, mate, nobody knows everything. He says, I ask for advice all the time, even on things I used to know inside and out. Can't remember everything. That's true. If you don't use it all the time. There's a lot of things I start doing and it'll just come back, kind of zap to me. Like, oh yeah, that's right. It's been a minute. Haven't done this one. What's your thoughts on Chamberlain no longer making the belt clips black? That's a good one. I didn't know anything about that. The belt clips black. So what are they going to do? They're just going to leave them silver? The clips. And that's, who was doing that again? What's the thoughts on Chamberlain? So it's Chamberlain, but is it like if you go the LiftMaster, because you remember like the LiftMaster always was better looking. You know what I mean? Like the rails and everything were always really like streamlined. Everything was black. Nice red head on there. Just beautiful machines, right? The Chamberlain, the box stores. I think that one I just did. I don't think that had a black clips on the very ends for the belts. If that's what you mean. But I don't know. I kind of gave up on the openers, I feel like, in a sense. Like, they're not going to listen to you. They're not going to listen to me. The only way they're ever going to listen is if we can, like, knock them out like the whole John Deere, and they just go, wow, we are tanking. What is going on? Nobody's buying our products. And they start listening to who and what is buying their stuff instead of just trying to, because it's probably another stage that they're trying to save money. But I don't understand where all these places get this stuff about saving money. I get there's inflation. I get things cost. And I have no problem spending more money if things are worth it. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather them just say, you can buy Genie openers. You can buy this. They are cheaper. But here's the thing. We've decided that we didn't want to go down this road. We want to keep things, this same or nicer or better quality. We think it's better for you as a technician. But I can't believe all the industrial stuff I'm seeing. I'm watching all these car videos. And, I mean, something as simple, I think, as it's Napa gold filters are not made by Wix anymore. This guy used to be. Now they're made in China. So you got to go back to the Wix filters. It's just all these silly little things. The parts, the quality. I mean, we're seeing it across the board. And it's like, what in the heck is going on? It's like time out, man. Time out. Please slow down and do quality product. I know I might have to spend a little more money, but if it saves me in the field all these callbacks or these headaches, please, I'm willing to spend another 20, 40 bucks or whatever, like it saves me from going back to the customer, having the customer upset, having a door damaged. My other half does secretarial work, Sean says. She doesn't always outline the price for a call and lets me deal with them after I'm done. Something that takes 5 minutes. Yeah, it's kind of a weird. I've seen this. I've seen some people do where they'll do, like kind of what we do is like your first initial service call is X amount of dollars, and you always got to get that right out of the gates, right? You know what I mean? So they understand like you're gonna have to pay for the vehicle to leave and show up. This is what it's gonna be a minimum, right? And then normally you can do what I found out was the best. So always do like a preventative maintenance, go through, spend a little time because nobody likes it if you're only there for 3 minutes to go with a photo eye, and they go, "That's it." You're like, "Yep, that's it." They don't like that. But if you go around and spray and play with the rollers and look over things, which is not a bad thing, it's a good thing to do because you might see something or go, "Whoa, this end bearing plate is." Because I notice for myself even, if I spray lube things for whatever reason, I concentrate on it, right? Because I'm looking at what I'm shooting, so I spray, and I go, I might do like an end bearing and be like, "Holy crap, this thing's smoked." You know what I mean? And that's where I can address the customer and say, "We should really change out your end bearing, and here's what's going on." And that's an extra way to make more money, or we might have to come back, or hopefully not, but that's just sometimes how it happens. But they like that kind of stuff. Oh, the Brandon says, "Good advice. I'm trying to start up my own business." Brandon, like I said, and Brandon, bring out the questions, man. If you guys are sitting in the background right now, like I said, bring up the questions. You got questions, ask the questions. You got a great group of people here that love to help, and I'm willing to help. You can always, like I said, you can always shoot me an email if it's something a little more personal, and just let me know. Say, "Hey, don't share," or you can share and just change my identity, kind of like I did with the last one. And because I respect that. That's just the right thing to do. And but that's why I do the live streams. Like I said, I'm here for the questions. I'm here to help. And I like seeing what you guys got going on out there. Just like with Mr. Liftmaster guy asking about the brackets. I didn't know nothing about the brackets, but I'm going to be on the outlook for them now. Being black to silver, I'm going to be looking for it, and I'll be like, darn it, he was right. He was right. Something changed here. Appreciate all the good advice. Patrick's guy says, "Oh, yeah." He says, "Do you charge a service call fee? I was told not the normal in garage door repair unless I was going to contract myself to third-party warranty company." I don't know if I really understand the question, but the way I always look at it in the business, everything's free on the phone. I'll talk to you for an hour on the phone. You know what I mean? Customer, not a problem. What's going on? Explain it to me. You want to FaceTime me? You got Face? You got iPhone? FaceTime me. You know what I mean? I will walk a customer through. That's all day. You want a price? I'll give you a price. Here's a price. You're looking at probably $4,000 to $5,000. You know what I mean? But when that service vehicle has to leave, we have to put the key in the ignition and go boom. And those cylinders go, you're going to pay. Because when this vehicle leaves the property and could possibly get into a horrible car accident and cause our insurance premium to skyrocket and double and triple because insurance rates are going bonkers right now, hell yeah, we're charging you something. So when that van pulls up, there already has to be a clear understanding that you're going to be charged whatever your service call wants to be. 65 used to be what we started out, went to 85. I think it's about 120 for residential. Whatever it's going to be. And you have to explain to them. You know what I mean? I'm here to help. But if I come out and I think I know what's wrong with it, I think that's just going to, 120 is going to be just for the labor only, no parts or nothing, no material included. That's just for me to come out and they agree upon it. Then you go that route. I would also probably make sure you're asking how they're going to pay, because it seems silly, but sometimes people, if they say, like I said, I almost kind of don't like the cash anymore because it's like, it just gets to be goofy. I've had people that I've been there, especially if it's a little bit in the ghetto, and they'll be like, oh, I got to run to the ATM. And you're like, how long is that going to be? You know, they don't show up for 20, 30 minutes later. Like I said, one of those things, you don't get paid for that time. You know what I mean? And they like, well, the other ATM was out of money or the other ATM was shut down. So I had to go across town and go to the one, or that I've had them where they try to act sneaky where they'll like dodge you, like they just leave, never come back. But credit cards, I have a lot of problems too. I've been hearing a ton of stolen credit cards, chargebacks. It's getting nutty out there. But I should mention, I do know about the third parties. I've done third parties. Third parties, they typically won't pay you. You got to go out there. What was weird to me is I had them before where they would pay the material, but they would not pay the labor. I found a little loophole. I'm not saying they're all like that, but I was on the phone. I was like, well, basically I wanted to get some kind of money flowing with this company. I was like, this is too far away. We got to order these springs, or like whatever at the time, it was like $600-800. I'm like, I'm not eating this because I don't know if you got 3 more other guys coming out here and somebody has the springs at their shop. They get this job, like I want some money exchanged here. And I remember the phone was breaking up or something. I was in a weird area and the guy was like, oh, he goes, you need to order the material. I can give you the credit card for the material, but I can't pay labor. And I was like, whatever, man. Like, I need a credit card. Like, I need something to process. I need to make sure you're legit. You're not a scam. I want some money out of you. And so I remember I got the job done so fast. Service Spring came through. The springs were there like the next day or something. I whipped up there. I never even charged them. I just got the credit card. I charged them the full amount. And they already had, I think, a written price, and they were okay with that. But like I said, they couldn't pay the whole. I charged the card one time. I thought, hey, I'm going to charge it one time, right? They're not going to get charged multiple times. And I remember that guy called me up, and he's like, I wasn't approved for paying, the labor. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, well, just to let you know, I'm like, the job's all set. I'm not approved, blah, 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 blah. The card went through. I was like, whatever, man. You already approved the quote. Like, you knew that's what the charge was going to be. So I just charged you the full amount that we agreed upon in one shot. I saved you, and the job's done. You look like a hero. You got it done in 2 days, but they didn't like that. So I just kind of put that out there. I swung it. The reason I did it, honestly, is I've been screwed over by these companies many a times. And they're goofy. They all want their signature. That's the only thing you got to hold. They want that stamp, a store stamp on that paperwork, because that shows that you were there. And you send that in. That's how they get paid. So you have nothing. Like, once you send that in, it's like you got no recourse. Where did I go here? Shane Chamberlain are actually a company. I think I passed something here. Third party. Tanner, check out that price list. I gave you $1,000 for 16x7 insulated metal sandwich door. It's insane, Tanner. It's insane. You gonna spill the beans on it, Tony? To let everybody know who's got the best deals you think right now? Brandon says, how important is a LLC if you are just starting up? Well, I can't, obviously I'm not a legal advisor. I'm not an attorney, blah, 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 blah. Don't sue me, bro. And here's the thing. This is kind of how I look at it. So you're getting Uncle Dave's opinion. The Uncle Dave's opinion. The Uncle Dave's opinion is when you were born, you were a business. That's why you have a social security number. You are a slave to the government. You have to pay taxes and all these things, right? You're already a business. You're a business, actually, with your name. All you're doing with businesses is you're turning an LLC into something that's doing business as, DBA. So you're telling the government, IRS, I'm doing business as Affordable Door and Gate, but technically, Daveadubson is the real culprit, or Johnny Law is the real culprit, or John Wayne, whoever. That's all. So there's nothing really stopping you, in a sense, from going out to a customer and you explain to them. They don't need to write you a check. They normally don't even care, to be honest. You just tell them, say, make the check out to my name. I'm gonna put it in my personal. Right? I mean, and eventually, yeah, you want to grow into an LLC. There is protection in it, but in a nutshell, if you don't have a bunch of cars that are paid off that you love, and you don't have your, a first and second house that's paid off, who cares? It's all debt. And I've never come across one person in my life yet that had a lawsuit and whoever was suing them or something took the house away that the bank owned. The bank always wins, baby. So it's not that important. Now, should you be an honest person? Yes. You break somebody's windshield or something by dropping something, fess up to it. You know what I mean? Pay for it. And honestly, everything is cheaper out of pocket. It's the insurance stuff is getting nuts. So just take care of them. You know what I mean? You don't really need all this stuff. You have so much more power than when I started out with Google, Facebook, Nextdoor, Craigslist, wherever, baby. I mean, you name it. You guys know it all. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever. You got so much more power than when I started out. All I had was the phone book, business cards, maybe a bandit sign, a street or a sticker on the van or truck. That was it. Now you can put stuff out there. Go for it. Just go for it. Get started. Start making a little bit of money. Start stashing it away. Start investing it smartly, slow and steady. And sometimes, like my always saying, sometimes it's, keep it small, keep it all. Just all depends what your threshold is. But the LLC, it's more like if you're trying to get with the big dogs. With the commercial, they need that stuff. You got to have a certain insurance. You got to have, I don't even know if insurance would cover you personally. They probably would. They don't care. They just want your damn money. And so it's more, but like residential don't care, man. Like I said, when I did Lowe's, I couldn't believe I had people, they weren't be like, why aren't you wearing a Lowe's hat? Why aren't you wearing a Lowe's shirt, like a little vest, like those people in the store? Or why don't you drive a Lowe's truck? Why does it say affordable door and gate? I didn't get that. I never got it. I couldn't believe it. I was always waiting. I was earning for it. I was like waiting for somebody like, why didn't I contact you guys? What do you guys charge? They didn't even ask prices. Couldn't believe it. Oh, we would have done this half price. Not really, but we would have done this half price. We would have gave you a better opener. Like, it would have been way better. It would have been a LiftMaster instead of this Chamberlain. Yeah, this Chamberlain with the chain and the half cable and the crappy pulley up front. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this thing's only going to make it probably 10 years. That's it. Tops. They didn't care. But they loved when we fixed them. They love when we fix them. They push the button. Oh, my gosh. It's so quiet. Oh, my gosh, it works so good. The light actually works on this one. Oh, it's so nice. Just saying. So with these ladies, openers, another door guy gave me this job, and he was going to pay me for working on those openers. He says those brand new LiftMasters we installed by another company. Ah, gotcha. Thanks for filling in the blanks. Brandon, do it, mate. He says best thing ever will take you a few years through to get it half going. That's right. Go for it, baby. Chamberlain are actually a company in Bolton, England, who sell wholesale doors. That's interesting. Didn't know that. Brandon says, yeah, he says, I'm working for a company doing it now, but I see the money I could make doing it on my own. Okay, so this is a good one. Let's see how far down we are. Holy crap, there's a few of you. But I want to touch base on this one. It is really easy. It is really easy to see the money when you're doing business. But I would, especially with the economy right now, I would stress highly for anybody starting out that you either try to partner up with your door company that you're working with and maybe explain to them that you would explain like, hey, you know what, I'd like to, I think there's opportunity, I'd like to grow, and maybe they'd help work with you. Maybe not. maybe not. But what I see a lot of guys do is they go out on their own, right? It's really tough, right? I mean, because you don't have a steady paycheck anymore. And I was just talking about this in another video. If I was starting out today, maybe if I was on my own solo, I said in another video, maybe 30 to 50,000. I'm thinking more on like having a couple employees, but I'd feel probably like I'd want about 10K in the bank just sitting there, because one thing when I started out, which I didn't realize, is that you got this money going out and this stuff doesn't flow back in right away. You know what I mean? You got to pay your vendor. They're dropping off stuff. Some are COD. You got to catch up with the customers, and you could start snowballing really fast. So and especially like, I feel really bad for guys right now because they didn't go through the 06. Something's going on with the market right now, the economy. I mean, I even got like wood out here. I sell like little bundles and stuff like that. Just like a little side gig kind of fun thing I do. I mean, this year has been absolutely horrible for selling wood. Horrible. The year before, when all that stimulus money, it was bonkers. So I know the economy is not strong. I can see it I can go down Apple Avenue. I can see it in the guys that sell tires. I can see it in the guys that do automotive stuff. I've talked to them too. There's not a lot of money floating around, and the residential can dry up so fast. All it takes is the media, Fox News, MCC, or whatever, MNC. I'm saying it wrong, whatever. The Clinton News Network. I remember that one. But it can happen so fast. So I'd use really big caution with it, and I'd go in it with like, if I made myself a subcontractor, would you still work with me? Because, in a nutshell, we really should all network more together in a sense, because it's really tough to find good installers. And I had that bright idea too at one time where it was like, you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna, you're gonna. It's not you. I always talk about you get neutered, and it's not that it's not good, but there's a lot of, like, let's say, like, for all this, right? All this here, this building, everything, right? It cost 14 to 17 hours a day, 7 days a week. Are you willing to do that for 8 years? Maybe 10? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Not to say you got to be that big, got to go, but it's especially the problem is I fear too, a lot of this stuff is changing. It's out of our controls. These openers, the technology, we don't have a say in it. Job example. Sean's got stuff. He's sending those emails, baby. So this lady opener, do make best things. I gotta catch up here. Company and the money on my own. But Brandon, like I said, even if you can do stuff on the side, use the box stores. I can't tell you guys how much I'd use the box stores. They're such a good resource because you can take the stuff right back. You don't have to get with the vendors. You don't have to deal with all their phone calls and stuff. You just go into the store, go, this thing don't work. I want another one. And a lot of customers don't care. Liftmaster guy says, I've seen on the last Chamberlain, you and your kids installed the clip on the belt weren't painted black. Ah, you seen that? Good eye. That's what I was kind of thinking about. I thought, I don't think the clips were black. I know the spring went flying. I couldn't figure out why the freaking. I was like, why isn't the half-inch fitting in this thing? I was like, this is stupid. I was like, probably some cost savings. I thought they made the block smaller for the half-inch. Nope. I had to leave it in. I could have edited that out. I had to leave it in, especially when I seen my kid in the corner when on the camera, and she kind of laughs. I was like, that was stupid. I did a boo-boo there. Dumb. I thought for sure. I feel like I remember. I thought when they exploded, they were impossible to get back together. So I mean, I was like pausing for a second, going like, "Oh fudge!" I'm like, "What did I do?" And I got another one of these, but luckily I had enough spring in it where I could push it back together. Whew. Have to look when you're not on camera. I'll take a look. Tony's got Dave. I just sent you a price list. Awesome. Check out second column. Nice. What is the most premium make of door slash opener in the U.S.? Ooh, that's a good question for the guys. That could be. It seems like it's kind of whatever you spend your money with. It seems like everybody's kind of got their taste of flavors. After getting a hold of tech support and asking a bunch of questions, we found out, oh man, the board is bad. Holy crap! What? And it told her that she needs to get the other company out there to replace it. She was not happy. Oh my gosh, man. Man, Freeze. I am so glad. I'm so glad you shared that because I can feel the pain right now. Like I'm just like that's a bloody nightmare. That is a bloody nightmare. That is not cool. Says, yeah, I normally say I'll service the door while I'm there. Good idea. Makes people feel good. It's all about the emotions, right? Just like the stock market, the political, it's all about the emotions. Gotta make them feel good. Brandon wants your what's your a legit business become good friends with Service Spring? Heck yeah, man. And then with Service Spring coming out with Tony, I don't think you spilled the beans yet. I don't know if I should say it. I was still wondering if they're going to ship them up here. Just put on there something simple. Just put on there Tony and be like, Service Spring now offers something. Whatever you want. I don't want to steal your thunder. But yes, Service Spring is a huge. I was just talking to the wife the other day about it, and I said we went to. We were kind of talking about it, and I said, I said, really, all you need, I said, is the box stores. You know, the Menards, Lowe's, Home Depot, and I said, ambulances are going crazy tonight. It's like the third or fourth one I've heard. Not a good night. And I said, and Service Spring. And she's like, yeah, pretty much. She's like, all you need is Service Spring, the box stores. Get your doors from them. Get your openers. She's like, then all the nuts and bolts and everything else, a little in between. There you go. And I was thinking, am I missing somebody? I don't really think so. Says I do free quotes, but at my discretion, that's for repairs. If the tools come out, it's cash, it looks like. Says, appreciate. He says, is that a supplier? If you're talking about Service Spring, they are. Service Spring is, I might be on but Service Spring, baby. What is this, the 23? Catalog. They got everything. You get springs, you get brackets, you get chain, you get remotes, you get openers. They're like everything, baby. Like I said, I don't even get sponsored. They should sponsor me. But they are awesome. Good customer service. I haven't heard anybody say they got bad customer service. I haven't talked to them in a while. They've always treated me really good. I love the fact that you call them and it's like the person on the phone already has your information, everything processed. And you're like, go ahead and just get that coming. Boom. They don't send you to like 3 different apartments. Appreciate it, he says. Freeze, he says, I packed up my tools and left as she was yelling at me and called the boss. Oh my gosh. He felt bad. He says, and brought lunch and gave me $100. Well, that was nice of him at least. He would have gave me the 200, but he didn't have the money at the time. I guess, like I said, that was kind of nice. I mean, I don't know your exact situation, Freeze, but obviously it's kind of a learning process. And, if you don't mind doing it and stuff, I guess I wouldn't mind swinging the bat, but it's just one of those things where over in time, right, when you get busier and stuff like that, you realize what battles you're willing to fight. And I would say, like myself, probably Tony, those are battles we are not willing to fight. We just would rather, that's not us. We're sorry about, it's privacy. You swing it however you want. That's not my department. I can install something for you. But I get it. it's just kind of like an IT stuff. You know what I mean? And I've had it where I've been like, like keypads and stuff like that, and somebody was like, "Well, I want to do a security camera," and I'm almost like, I'd be like, "We could probably do that," and I always remember myself going, "Heck no, I'm not dealing with the computer screens. I don't know all where they're getting this stuff, their software, and then you're dependent on like tech support to even work with you or certain things, or then to find out it's got a bad board. Oh my gosh, oh, I can just feel the disappointment." What was that? Shun's got. I got one. It's okay to poop. He says, "Is it okay to poop at the customer's house?" I typically try not to. I try to stay out of the house. That's what I do like about garage doors. We're typically, I've had customers leave and they're like, "Do you want me to leave it?" And I'm like, "Nope." I'm like, "Just go ahead and lock that door up because you don't know me. You don't know my technician. Are we going to do anything? No, but I'd rather you just, I don't want nothing, hey, by chance, a phone call. When you were in my bathroom, did you by chance see my wedding ring? I didn't, but now I think I heard something hit the ground or oh, is that what went down the drain? You know what I mean? No, I just rather go in a bucket if you got a service van that can do it. Obviously, if a gas station or something's close by a convenience store, it's just easier to go there. Do you use job software like big charge for getting your jobs booked and getting your signature? Ooh, I don't know if Jobber, we use Jobber. I don't know if they really do the signature and stuff like that, but that's been our best. No complaints. Jobber's just been great. Is anything close to Fort Wayne, Indiana? Question mark. Patrick says, question. He says, if you're just starting out and you're going to do repairs only, torsion springs, cables, sensors, openers, and door prevent maintenance, what parts are you stocking your truck? Ooh, that's a good question. Let's see what Tony says, because Tony's probably on it here. He says, Patrick, a variety of springs, hinges, rollers, bearings, oils, cable, perimeter seal, bottom seal. This goes on to depending on how far you're gonna get up with it. Yeah, I would agree. The only thing I guess I would add is like if how do you say it? Like, so like I think about the springs. I haven't found anybody that's had a really good setup. If anybody does, shoot me a picture. I'd love to see it, right? So my theory, I guess, hasn't really changed. But I thought if I was to really go gun ho on the garage door springs, residential, I wanted it, I guess, I was going to do a bigger trailer. I was going to do it so it was like residential and or commercial. But if you're just doing a residential, you probably don't need that big a trailer. But I thought I'd always have a trailer I was just going to hook up to the van or the truck. You'd have tubes in there or wood areas where you get 10-foot long springs. You can pull them out, you can cut them, right? Because I'm sure you guys have been in the same situation where I have, where you maybe you get up to a job and normally like a 218, the 207s that you have stock on your truck will typically work. But you get that one off, right? That's like a Raynard or something. And you're like, man, I really need to cut, like, I need to add 2 inches to this 218 wire or something. And so I always thought it'd be nice to have a vise in there, have some torches. But I agree with Tony. It's kind of like, it's how far does the rabbit hole go? You know what I mean? Because like me, like perimeter seal, that's why I was kind of saying, like, if we turned off the residential, we're not doing anything residential except for replacing the garage door or replacing the garage door opener. That's it. That's just my theory for the times that are super busy, because like bottom seal can get really goofy, at least around our area. There can be, it seems about like 5 or 6 different bottom seals. And we only carry we carry about 3 different bottom seals. So you get that one off that the customer, it's a lot of time. And if you don't have it on the one shot when you go there, and by the time you try to tell them a price, it's $30, $40 for the roll, it's $60 for me to be here, or $120, they about fall over. You know what I mean? At least in our area. And the perimeter seal, And then like sometimes you're going to run into like tan doors. So how much do you carry? You know what I mean? And so it's not that it can't be done, but that's why I'm also always really focused on always about your really route density, right? Staying very close to your home, to your shop, because like I said, if I had to go one block over, I could give a rat's hiney, right? If I got to go one block over, I'll just drive over my personal car, whatever, man. I'll drive over. Oh yeah. You need weather seal. You need the. It's going to be about $500. You willing to pay that? Yeah, I want to get it done. My house is. I'm going to sell my house. Whatever. We got rodents coming in. Okay, run back, boom, grab your stuff. You know what I mean? But if you got to travel, it's tough. That's why I think there's more emotion in the springs. That's why maybe it was like, hey, I just focus on springs. That's why when that guy that worked for me at one time said, because I just do springs. I went, you know what? You might be onto something there because springs, guess what? You can put fingerprints all over them. I never had anybody complain about fingerprints on a spring. I mean, I can't think of anything I've had anybody complain about a spring besides when the cable comes off. You know what I mean? Or maybe a spring mount that wasn't anchored right blew up or something. You know what I'm saying? Like what I'm saying is there's this, you can drop it, you can be abusive with it. There's not much to go wrong. But weather seal, I've had people maybe not cut the way they want. You cut it too short, had that boo-boo. You got fingerprints on it, now you gotta wash it. I guess rollers really aren't a problem. Cables aren't really too much of a problem. It looks like Sean was saying it goes in the bottles. But Patrick, you always got good questions. Patrick's got, and Tony, thanks for filling in, Tony. Oops, I hit a button wrong here. The list. The list. What's that mean, Tony? Is that definitely want to get your EIN number? Yep, the EIN number is important. And like I said, it's all when you're starting out. Like you just got to get out there. I think I'd rather see people get out there and start getting their hands dirty and realize maybe this isn't something they want to continue on doing because they're running into these problems, or they got customers that are complaining that their phones aren't linking up, even though they're not doing it, or there can be a lot of callbacks before they go and get the uniform, get the truck, get the stickers, get the business name, get all this stuff set up, dealt with the attorneys, blah blah blah. And go, man, I don't like this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the heck I got myself into. Yesterday was nice because there was a mom with 3 kids, and she had a garage door with 2 Stanleys. Ooh. One of them was broken. Like normal, the gearbox was cracked. She was perfectly fine with paying $600 for new opener. See? Boom. That's what you got to find. You know what I mean? Those are the customers that you want. You know what I mean? Like simple, easy, replace it. She's got a problem. You install something. Eric, what'd you install? I'm just curious. What'd you install? What opener? What model? Or what brand, at least? Tony says, EIN number. Says, Patrick, thanks. Tony says, I was thinking 5/6 torsion springs, a few cables, rollers, a couple openers, and some other things. Yeah, I don't know. You realize like a service vehicle can fill up really fast. You can weigh it down a lot. And over time, you'll realize that it was so much weight sometimes with how much, because I was the same way. I'd start, it's like you're like, I need rollers, I need center brackets, I need center couplers, I want a solid shaft, especially when I'm doing commercial, man. The trucks get weighed down so much that you start wearing out bearings. You got premature wear on the tires. Your fuel mileage goes down. You drag a lot of stuff around. So that's why, for me, the trailer was an idea that I thought for the springs, because I knew if I hooked up to the spring trailer, I could make the springs. Basically, there's going to be some stock ones on there. Now, typically for Patrick, we carry right around. It varies. I carried, I think, 17 springs, and this is including the right and left hand. I carried 207 wire all the way up to 273 wire, and then everything in between. So I always remember it was 14 to 17. The normal guys carried 14. I carried about 17. I carried some oddballs because I was typically always the one that would travel a little farther and Big Daddy always wanted to have a little more ammunition because Big Daddy didn't want to drive back when he drove somewhere that was an hour away, because that's just no ways, you're not making no more money. You know what I mean? Eric Scott, she wanted backyard openers, so she got the Genie 3124. Big upgrade over that Stanley. Heck yeah, that works. That works just fine. I wonder if you can just buy the T-rails from LiftMaster and you can just slap those on the Chamberlain. So you used to be able to. I don't know. Like, it threw me a little bit with that Chamberlain I did, that I had the bolt. the T-rails always used to line up. I don't know if they got away with it. But honestly, unless somebody can put it in the comments below the reason. Like, here's the thing. I understand the reason, right? I understand that the T-rail is way nicer. I agree. And the only reason I look at the T-rail and I go, you know what's so much nicer about the T-rail? I go, is you can slam it up against the ceiling or the rafters. You don't have to worry about that boxy trolley going thud, thud, thud on the rafters or whatever, But there is a caveat. I used to never oil them. They used to give you that grease. I used to spray them with spray lube, but I never greased them with that grease until I had a guy that worked here, and he was telling me how there's a plate in there that keeps that trolley stiff so it doesn't slappy slap slap. Well, it's just like a little spring-loaded, almost reminds me of those things you used to slap on your wrist and wrap around when you were a kid. So then I was like, oh, really? And he goes, yeah. Well, I finally witnessed one that went bad. I don't think we installed it, but it was the premium or the platinum drive, whatever, belt drive, LiftMaster. Can't think of the word right now. And it wedged up in there, and it was causing the door to work one way but not the other way. And I was like, holy crap, like that thing broke, and that's causing a problem. So I literally had to change out that whole trolley piece, if I remember right. And then I made sure I greased it. But other than that, I've thought about this because I've had somebody else comment about it. And I go, it is just total hogwash to even consider it. Because I was going to do it. Because at the time, UPS, which I think they will now, I don't know for sure, but UPS would not send me the rails. They said they were too big for just a 7-foot tall door. They wouldn't send me that. And that's because that's what I was going to. I was like, well, I'll just order the rails, and then I'll put a Chamberlain head on it, and then voila, wada bing, wada boom. But the problem you run into is that if you get a whole package deal from the box stores, and I haven't had anybody really convince me otherwise lately, not to say I can't be, but I look at it and I go, from somebody starting out, from the simplicity of it, from me running a full-scale garage door business now, I go, why in the hell would I ever not use a box store? Especially if it's not that far away. Because the things that we don't think about in the garage door business, and people doing a lot of other businesses too, is they don't ever consider their time. People, we only have so much time on this earth. You know what I'm saying? And your time is everything. You want to spend more time with your family. You want to spend more time fishing or golfing or going hunting or fishing, right? Everybody does. So, and if you can make better profit margin in a sense, then use the box stores. You know what I'm saying? Like, the box stores, you can't beat their prices. I've looked at them every up, way, down, and cross-eyed and everything, and the prices are just unbelievable. You know what I mean? And then you get the taxes all taken care of. You get a machine, and the beautiful part is the people at the desk, they don't know nothing about this stuff, and you can take it back in if you have a problem, and you never have to worry about it again. You drop it off. You don't even have to package it. You don't have to go to UPS and ship it. You don't have to wait for your vendor to show up and hand it back to them. You don't have to call your vendor and go, hey, did you ever refund me for that? Oh, we never seen it. Well, I sent it back. Well, we never seen it. You know what I'm saying? It's all done in one process. Boom. The garage doors, yeah, well, those may be a little different subject, but there is ways to upgrade them. So I just still kind of look at it like, man, if I was just starting out, like, I'd use the box stores and I wouldn't even look back. You know what I mean? Because I think my pride was getting to me a little bit. You know what I mean? I wanted to install this, and like I said, so many customers I've gone over the years didn't care. They just want the door to go up and down. Where is a Service Spring doing? Is it Service Spring? Where are they doing? What is they? I don't know what that question is, Eric. Sorry. Chamberlain, our Baba mate, he says over here, it's something you buy from eBay. That's nuts to think about. He says Horman, the Gadier, best over here, 81s. Isn't that nuts? Just over there, that's how much. And I'm not discounting it. It's just that's mind blowing. You know what I mean? That's awesome. Not had one fail. That's crazy. And see, I think that's a good point what Sean's bringing up, because it's like whoever's your local dealer, right? I always think about it like when you buy a tractor, maybe you buy a car, you buy a garage door opener, it's like whoever's your local dealer, because like for us, we did a Horman over here once, right? And it didn't work right in the box. Tried everything, read the instructions. I mean, it was dead. Had my other technician work on it, couldn't get it to work. And the guy comes out and he's like, I ordered it because I'm German or whatever, And I'm like, well, I guess you're gonna have to send it back. He's like, I waited 3 weeks for it. And I'm like, I don't tell you, man. It's like, send it back. I said, get a Chamberlain at the store. You know what I mean? Because right now, we could throw it back in the box. You could take it there right now when we're here, because we were too far away, and get us another one. But right now, we got this thing is dead in the water. And what are you going to do? They got to reorder it, send it back? It's just a big headache. We weren't coming back. It was like, they're going to have somebody else install it. Service spring. What did I miss here? I hate to say, serious stuff. Chamberlain, eBay, Service Spring offers. There it is, Tony. There it is. Service Spring is, I can't even say it. Verdict doors. He says at a great price. Our value aluminum retainer or bottom seal. Let's go make some money, boys. Yes, I love it. I'm excited. I'm excited to see this door through Service Spring. The only thing I still just don't know is how they're going to deliver them, because when we order stuff through Service Spring, we order skids and stuff. It all comes on R&L truck for up here. That's our freight line trucker up here. And I don't know if Service Spring is going to start branching out with their own box trucks, and if they're going to make you have like a minimum order. But I think that's pretty amazing. I don't know if they're doing that out of the kindness of their heart, or it's new and they're just trying to get people to know about them at this great price, or they're just able to do it because they found a way with processing or their network or whatever. So, what's up, boy, bro? He says Service Spring is now offering one-stop shop for garage doors. Isn't that amazing? It's pretty cool. I didn't think that day would ever come, honestly. He says, hate to say, he says, but over here in Iowa, Horman is dumpster openers, complete trash, don't do well in winters. Hate working on them, he says, and Fisher Price build. He says, Liftmaster all the way. Yeah, I mean, was it the Horman? Was it the Horman that's got the green button? They have to like push for the release, which I always was like, why do you have to go up on the ladder to push the release? Like, you should be able to do it from the cord. We've had a lot of problems with Horman, like I said. And so, Sean, don't take it offensively. It's nothing offensive, man, but yeah, I'd agree. The Hormans do not do good over here. They don't work good over here. I don't know if it's obviously we're dealing with like different grades. You know what I mean? Like give the Americans the shit ones. Because they won't send them back. It's kind of like the Chinese doors. I think Josh got some. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, Chinese garage doors. I was like, man, they're like half the price. I kept thinking, yeah, but if they're damaged, you have any problems, like you're not calling tech support, and you're not sending them back. You're not sending them back over on a ship and saying, I want my money back. Like, you're stuck with them. You know what I mean? So you're stuck with them. Yes, I hate to say it. He says, I'm definitely not doing the IT stuff. He says, I'm doing what Tony said about that one. Just say it's a security thing. Yeah, I'd agree. What's up, Kevin? Haven't talked to you in a while. Glad you're here. Tony says, Goshen, Indiana. You guys are pretty close. Will, I don't think I've had any updates from you, buddy. Did you get that gate all running? Get the gate operator going? Just got in. He says, as I told you last week, put my notice into overhead. Guess what? Oh, no. Guess what they did? They poop can you right away. Steven, he says, I always weigh the door and cut and build the springs right at the customers. See, now, if you got the stuff to do it, that's really a great way to, that's awesome. You know what I mean? That's phenomenal. If you got the stuff to do it, right? Typically, most like our trucks and that, we don't have like torches and vices, and there's ways to get around it. You can get them that go in your hitch and stuff like that. But I'd agree. That's a great way to do it because I've had quite a few customers over the years that somebody else put the wrong springs on, right? That was always a bummer. And I put them on, and I'm like, this door doesn't work worth a poo poo. And I'm like, this ain't good. So then you either have to take your stuff apart. So it's not the best practice to do it that way. So yeah, for sure, if you can build it for the customer. If someone does only springs, they should use the name Spring Doctor. Heck yeah, man. That's a good one. I like that. He says, and they should use an old ambulance and service vehicle. Heck yeah. That's a good idea. This big old. We had a company down the road that you could get them super cheap. I don't think they had the box on them though. I think some did actually, but the guy, I mean, you could pick them up for like, I know the 6 liter diesel is not the best, but a 6 liter diesel with a dually for like he'd sell them for like $500 all day because they were like throwaways for them after they used them. Tony says, Kevin, do you use Service Spring? He says, we do. Service Spring is phenomenal. I'm moving to US. He says, going to charge $800. He says, for a program remote like the is it Blake or Bloke? He says on YouTube. I think Sean's a little upset about that guy. He was writing me some emails. I was kind of going through it. You can get a school bus as a service vehicle. Get the short one. I want the short bus. Sean says, Josiah, do you carry spare springs on your van? So our service vehicles, like that was what I was saying, we carry typically about 14 to 17 different size, calculated size. Not we don't cut them or anything. They already got cones, pre-assembled springs that the guys will carry on their vans for those situations typically. He says, Will, he says, on my commercial service vehicle truck, I've never carried a spring for anything. He says, residents, we got every spring you could think of. Ooh. Springs for everything. On a commercial service truck, I never carried. I think commercial's a little goofier. You know? Commercial, you can't. It's like almost impossible. I got to a rhythm at one time. We had certain customers. We had a couple that would bark about not having springs in stock, and they're like, "You don't have springs?" Like, I mean, like if I go to AutoZone, they got brake pads, and it's like, yeah, well, certain commercial springs are big dogs, man. Some are 3 to 6 inches, 8 inches, and it was like I always try to convince them, say, we can order you another set and store them for you. And they got kind of guffy about it because now we fix their door and they're good again, right? But when it break again, oh, it broke. How fast can you guys do it? Well, as fast as about the vendor can send it to me. You want to order another set? Oh, I tried asking my boss, but he won't approve it. Well, quit griping, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody's comments. Springs in the van, on my commercial vehicle, spring you could think of. Tony's got. He says, if you use LiftMaster T-Rail, you still have to use the plastic separator. If you don't, you'll throw the chain. I don't, I'm not doubting Tony on that. I know the tensioner got really, I don't know why. This seemed like, I just something in my brain. I don't know why. It seems like I remember, though, if you use the T-Rail, what the hell's the difference? Why are they making it? Is it the sprocket, Tony? Is it the sprocket that's bigger on the LiftMaster to the T-Rail? That's why they don't get the spring, the chain slap. Because we were doing something like that. And I ordered the plastic piece for some of our, I think it was even for maybe the T-Rails, just to make it quieter. Because I realized, I was like, man, you spread that chain out that goes right up by the opener there, that plastic spreader. Man, it makes things a lot quieter. But I could never quite figure out why. I was always like, why is it? I'm trying to think. Is it because it's a cable? Where's the distance getting eaten up in there? I'm trying to think. I just don't recommend it. I really don't. I want to see if we even still have those black spreader pieces out here. I ordered a whole ton of them, and then I got off the bandwagon. Hello, light, turn on. Oh, it feels good to stand up, anyways. Plus, I gotta find a cord for you guys to charge up. Oh, let's see here. I forget if we still have them. Plastic? Plastic? Are you here? It was kind of like a silly thing. Like I ordered a bunch of them, and I thought I was going to go down that road. I think it was the whole T-rail with the residential openers, and thought it was going to be like the new sliced bread. It never turned out that way. It was like, this is too much work. I had to order the plastic things all the time. It came to be a real pain in the hiney. Oh, I'm not seeing nothing right off the top of my head. I don't want to stand on this garage door. Have problems. It could be up on this upper shelf. I was kind of lucky. Like it's kind of a mess, but this was a huge improvement. Getting all these compartments. I found this at a guy's. He wanted to throw them away. Commercial customer, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if we ended up trading a little bit for some work because they always needed garage door stuff, and I was like, I could really use these right now because we basically had nothing. Yeah, got extra wire. Look at that. Feel up in here. Sprocket for something. I just don't want to stand on this door. You know how it is, guys, with those doors, man. Don't be a hater. Don't want to step on that. Don't want to step on that. I know it's garbage. You don't like it, but I still don't want to step on it because I don't want to give somebody else a bad day with that with damage on the door because that cost a ton of money. A ton. See if I can find some power for us. Liftmaster. She says we barely have broken springs over here. That's weird. There's something I have to get a picture or serial number of most the European doors. That's interesting. Chamberlain Whisper Drive. Probably right. I think that's right. I think that's what it was. Is it Queso? He says, hi. How you doing? Glad you're here. Thanks for the likes, you guys. That always helps bring more people in, too. Got my finger dirty. He's got Evan, when I did industrial, Sean, he says, we've had measured diameter and count 10 coils, divide by 10 for the wire thickness. Oh, man, that's too much work for us Americans. We're lazy, man. We got our spring gauges. We got our wire gauge. We can't do none of that fancy math, man. We got iPhones that do everything for us. We got bidets, is it called, that wash our heinies. Too much, man. Too much. But you do it in a pinch. We do like the 10 and 20 count, just to make sure. I think that works out a lot better, honestly. He says, what's your spring gauge in that if you're counting 10? I don't know if Will's a part of. I could be off on the question, but like Service Spring always used to be good for this. Please, Service Spring, show me that you haven't let me down. Where are you? They've changed it a little bit. Here we go. Ooh, even got a new little design on here, right? But this is always like right here. Length 10 coils over. You get that. This picture's horrible. But it tells you. Then if you count 20, it'll give you the wire size. Look at, they got a little thing here. That's interesting. That's how you tell if it's left hand, right hand. I'll show you how I was taught. So maybe it can help somebody. Put it up to your belly button. Whatever way, when you got the spring, whatever it's pointing, that's right, that's left. So whatever way it's coiled, put it up to your belly button, look down, whatever way it's pointing. That's how I was always taught. Works out pretty good. Not gonna lie. see if we can get some power on this joint. What's your spring gauge? I worked a lot industrial with duplex. He says with duplex and never did that. The duplex. Sean, he says yes, that's sure, man. He says what single? Whoops, where did I go here? Raise. What do we got? Totally different here. He says yes now. Okay. He says okay. Says, yeah, green button, fair, mate. Offering doors. Our company is Supermaster. Let's see here if I'm missing. Where am I at? Where am I at? I lost my spot. Duplex. Never did that. He says yes. He says that's true, mate. He says that's just singles. We had duplex. Never had to change one. But again, the serial number. Tanner's guy goes, yeah. He says UPS won't ship any thing over 10 foot. I think the 7 foot opener rail and box is just over 10 foot. Yeah, something like that. I think you're right. I had somebody say they do, so I don't know. I was kind of confused, but as far as I remember, they wouldn't ship them. You got to kind of watch it because sometimes even if they do ship them, they come in damaged. So that's why I'm like, man, I'm telling you, like I just do the box stores. Everything's a package deal. It fits in a nice little box, and you can put it in the back of your van or your service truck or your Chevy Spark or whatever your Kias. You just fit it in there. And away you go. Like I said, yeah, it's going to take you a few more minutes to put the rail together. But you know what? It does the same thing. It's kind of like, I don't know how to describe. I was thinking about like a Bic lighter, right? You got a Bic lighter that lights your cigarette, and you throw that thing away when you're done, or you got the Zippo. But it's all fire, baby. And as long as it lights your stogie, you're good to go. There we go. Now we got some power, I think. What does this say? Yeah, mate. It says, was single, something. It says, Horman are totally different over here. So I think they take piss quality control products by far. I think they ship them over here. So our company is Spurmasters, normally next day. Nice. Nice. Tony, he says, I get what they call the milk truck delivery. He said it's their own box truck. The milk truck delivery. It's their own box truck. Huh. Interesting. I don't know. I just wonder how they're going to do it. The doors in close proximity to their sites. Ooh, Steven's got, kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense. You know, they might not want to get in that whole realm. They might not want to get in that whole realm of shipping, you know what I mean? You know, think about how big Amazon got. You know what I mean? Just boom. It's like they gave up on UPS. They got all these little trucks and that. Kind of good for them, I guess. Sheen's got, what's Sheen got? He says, yeah, they do have green buttons, to be fair. He says, mate, on the K bottom. Boom. Or K, I'm assuming that's bottom. Eric's guy says, I've yet to encounter a Horman. I've seen the Sombers, and they are pretty reliable. Okay, boys, what's the name of your business? I want to look up online. Mine is Tony's Garage Door Service. Ooh. Wilson's Improvements, LLC is mine. Nice. Look up NX Doors. Look like they have a distributor across country, probably just selling through Service Spring. That's interesting. That's good to know. I'm sure you can go down there, but then it gets to be where it's like if you go down there, especially for like us being in Michigan at the time, you'd have to obviously get like a huge load. Or they probably want to buy like a semi-truckload and they'll deliver it of some sort through a carrier. But, you know, that's a lot to deal with. I think what I'll do is I will check I'm going to check the prices from those service spring doors against the Menards. I'm going to check them out just to see, do I think they're probably better? Yeah. But I was curious to see what their price, if they can get that low. You know what I mean? How low can they go? Rise Door Company in Spencer, Iowa. Eric, yes, mate. He said I fitted them. They are different. They come in 3 parts through boom starts flexing eventually. Work as a call-up door, sales and service. Nice. What's the company called? He says Tecker Trump. They use Sommer. Is it Tacken? It's so hard to read the fine print sometimes when it gets in the way. Holy cow, Rich. I didn't send out the bat signal. I apologize. Cheers. I'm glad you're here. I thought something bad happened to you. Eric's guy says I'd say Sommer is Mercedes-Benz of garage door openers. Really? Really? I've never used a Sommer. I've seen them at the IDH show, but they kind of reminded me a little bit of the Marantec. But with the Sommer, what got me is, are those the ones, right, with the whole trolley thing moves, the whole head unit? And I just could not, it was very foreign to me. And I just thought, I don't know. But like the Marantec opener, far as long as I had it, it kept running, but the initial install felt complicated. And I always felt like the guys would fight very hard on it. Like they would not like the setup of that. That was just my opinion on the Marantec. But it seemed to work. It never lost its limits. It never got really glitchy. The light was weak. The salesperson already told me that we had the cheapest unit and the light wasn't going to be that good. Well, it says commercial. If you want the spring, go ahead and buy a story. It says, if not, go ahead and wait. The spring, go ahead and buy and store it. If not, that's right, man. Make them wait. Gotta wait. Otherwise, you hang on to your own product. What's up, Rich B? Says cheers. Heck yeah. Eric, he says, this is we encounter Sommer rebranded as, was it an Avanti? I think he says they are more basic versions, but they still got the direct drive trolley. Okay, so I'm on the right one. That whole concept just blows me. I don't know if that's a good design or not. I just cannot. I think I'm so programmed with the LiftMaster Chamberlain, even though they have the plastic gear that would always get chewed up. But that was just, it's kind of like reminds me of that. One of you guys, I think it was Freeze, led me to that video of the guy with the silent or the glide, whatever, the chain glide for the Genie. I didn't realize how that chain all wrapped up in there. I tried to show a picture in the video because I thought it would just spool up. That's how I thought. It's like a whole maze. And gosh, I can't think of the guy. Freeze, you can put his name up. The guy that made the video. Man, I was just sitting there and I'm just like watching and going, man, this is a crazy, stupid design. And I loved the fact that he said you can't warranty it. You know what I mean? Oh, Sheen's got something there, Sean. We counter direct drive trolley. Sean, he says the main company over here for industrial sectional doors is in Dupart. He says I can normally get springs made up same day. Nice. Dave, he says, what old openers do you got laying around? So I still got the crane opener. And then I still do what do I got? What else is the other one I'm trying to think of? Scientific. I got the Scientific. It's about really the only old. I got like the Sears, a Sears one, I think. I haven't been hoarding too many lately. I seen there was like an older, I forget what it was, a Genie something sitting out in the dumpster out there on the scrapyard. But I don't know. I just haven't been kind of hoarding them lately. I've haven't seen anything that looked really cool. That was kind of something I normally don't ever see. The crane one really got me because I threw it away, and I felt so bad that I threw it away. I went all the way to Chicago to get another one, um, and so now I got it. But I was told there's something that's backwards on it, and then also it runs so fast that I've been nervous to ever fire it up on another door. Queen, is it Queen Jets? Is that Will? He says we had a broken spring at the warehouse where they make roof trusses. So they had the replacements stored on shelf, covered in years of sawdust. Oh, I see a brochure Sean sent. Yeah, that can happen too. They can get coated up, I've actually taken springs that I drop off, especially like the road commissions that have salt. I've actually sprayed them with oil, like a heavier oil, so that we don't get to them. And I've had some that are pretty rusty. He says it's just a guide. So if the chain is loose, it keeps on the sprocket. Guide. So if the chain is loose, it keeps it on the sprocket. It must be the one. It says no mace. Says everything are different things over here. I use them as a budget opener. Okay. They are okay, but been phased out. Now I believe they resource from, is it burlesque? So sectional, etc. Oh, sanitations, etc. Interesting. He says, I've noticed those look a bit different. What's up? Is it Galvin? Gavin, sorry, Gavin. Gavin N? Is that Gavin Newsom? I just started my own garage door business out in Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City. I watched another guy out there. Slow start, waiting for Google to approve me. What are some better ways to get customers other than Google? Thanks, guys. Oh, these guys can add a lot of stuff. I honestly, if I was starting out, kind of like I said, in a nutshell, I like the bandit signs. If you can get them in rotation or put them up on a Friday, pull them on a weekday or whatever, on a weekend, Sunday, if they're going to get certain townships, take them. Takes time, obviously, do your Facebook, do your Google, but I love the signs because I think it looks, you're local. People know you're hungry. They want to use you because they're having problems finding other people or want a good deal. So I like the bandit signs. They put at the corners. I think they're kind of different. Never really did the direct mailers. Tony does. He always recommends he does teas for a local golf place. Gives free teas with his name on it. Great idea. They are belt-driven mate. He says only had one problem with them: sensitivity. Setting that had to be adjusted. Yeah. Insulated. He says Queen Jets. He says when training a new guy, would you teach them nail up method or track and stack? Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to kind of hear what these other guys. I see Tanner in here. He says, and waste of time of nails. Yeah, I've never done the nail method. I remember my buddy that passed away that did garage doors. He actually did it longer than I did. We were installing a garage for his personal new barn, and he'd measure out the jam, right? And then I remember him marking it, and then he'd take a level, and he went up with a level the whole way. And he had to climb in. I think the door was 14 tall. He had monster trucks and stuff. But he did all that, right? And I'm like, okay, like maybe I'm going to learn something new here. And we still went to put the door up, right? And he's leveling the panel or whatever. And we got up towards the top and stuff, and I'm like, hey, man, I got to move this outside of the line. Like, is that okay? That kind of happens, and I thought, what the hell is the point of doing it? I thought, I'd rather just stack it and run with the track is how I do it. Level your door section And I always call it making the door happy. You know, it's got to breathe. So to me, it's always just kind of sighting down it, looking at the rollers, and just go. You know what I mean? So, but you know, I look at it too. Like if somebody has a certain way and they like that way, I also really don't care. If as long as it's not gonna, their way takes 2 hours, mine takes 30 minutes. You know, if it adds 5 or 10 minutes or something for somebody else, I'm like, if that's how you feel, then go for it. Tanner says track and stack every time, and the other way is just stupid. I think we got Edmonton, he says, in the dumpster right now. He's like, gotta take it home, dissect it, make a video. Heck yeah, do it. Waste nails. Kevin says track and stack, no nails. Nail up, he says, is just extra step. Yeah, I really think in my heart, I don't know, I'm not that old. I am old, but I'm not that old. The nail method was for the guys. I'm assuming they used hand cranks with the old square heads. So, hell yeah, I'd probably be nailing them up too. That was fast, man. You know what I mean? Bam, bam. Nail that track up there, and then you had to sit there with your thing, it'd be cool to pull some old boys out, out of the grave and show them where we're at nowadays. And they'd be like, power tool? Battery? Cordless? This is amazing. Like, you don't know how many. They probably had like big strong arms, from sitting there cranking it. That's made. Do you want to email me picture? I don't know what I'd send you. I don't know what I got. He says, Tanner says, Gavin, go to all your local lumber yards and big box stores and let them know, leave cards, and boots on the ground is always a good idea. Show up hungry, leave cards, and sometimes you have to stop stop. I'm sure it goes on here. So I've been working with a new guy, and he suggests with his spacing every other time. Wonder if nailing up would help him get it down. I don't know. I've been working with a new guy, and he's struggling with spacing every other time. I don't know. I guess like I'd have him like, I gotta look at the roller, show him like the appropriate distance for that roller, right? That gap that you're looking for. Make sure he pushes the roller too. That can always kind of trick you a little bit if you're not a seasoned on it, to push the roller to see your gap. And then I've done it before too. I don't know if I'm so prevalent on it now, but I always keep it in my head a little bit, that I try to make the track V a little bit, because for whatever reason at the top, right, your end rollers are always, snug up in that radius. So I always try to make it like a little bit of a V. I've always kind of thought it cradles it too, so your weather seal, because I've had some where I've done them too wide, man, and you could take the door and do like a 1-inch slop every which way. You know what I mean? It was like a shlink, and it's like, yeah, this thing's way too loose, and especially if your jam's not in a little bit, your weather seal, it'll show the silver on the outside, won't cover. I don't know. You might have to whack them on the back of the head. Say, you got to pay attention to this stuff, because I know what you mean. They can make them too tight. That's not good. Gavin says, thanks, Tanner. He says, Eric, he says, I'm good with installing box store openers, but only if I deal with mobile apps and extreme garage door openers. What, Eric, what do you got going here? I'm good with installing box doors openers, but only if I don't deal with mobile apps and extreme garage. Okay, I thought I read that wrong. I did read it wrong. So, yes. I was going to say, you better not be installing no extreme garage door openers. You want to cause yourself a lot of headache. Those are the ones, man. A few times to get them to give you a chance, and good quality work will speak for itself. He says, don't cut corners and go extra mile. He says they will tell people and other contractors about it. Yeah, when it comes to anything, when you're in the construction world, anything in the construction world, you need to do a damn good job. You really do. It's going to cost you for you to go back, warranty, money, and yeah, you just don't want to do sloppy work. And if it takes you twice as long, it takes you twice as long. You know what I mean? Just you got to do it the right way every time. Sean's got the Abington does have a camera you can buy. Bit of comic through. This is a gimmick. He says Shane K boom mate. Length of the boom. Tanner's got, what's Tanner got? I have been in the door industry since about 2010. He says in the last 6 years, I've been out on my own, and my next year I'll be the biggest door company in the area, but base my business on quality. Yeah, that's awesome. Can I ask what different things mean? I'm from England. I don't know, as Americans, we're sometimes not the brightest. Not speed. You can be fast and good, but it takes years of experience. Start slow. Don't get too worked up. It'll work out. That's very true. That is very true. Couldn't agree more. Is it Philip? I thought the same. Whoever engineered that thing. Freeze guy says, Mike, he says, All Pro, I love his teardown videos. Mike, All Pro. Hey, Freeze, does he still make videos? I didn't click to see if he makes any more recent ones. If he's still in business or whatever. Because he's a pretty cool cat. Menards 9x7, not insulated, Lexington Springs. Ooh, 458. Oh, snap. Tony's doing some work. 9x7, non-insulated. 462 torsion system. Okay. Interesting. And I'm assuming you got to add tax, but you probably got to add tax both of them. I don't know. So you're close. So we're close. I mean, obviously the Service Spring is going to be better quality, but it probably only works, obviously, if you're close and local. Because obviously for me to go down, I got to add, $100, $200 to that door. If I go down for one, you spread it out. So that's the Menards 9x7 non-insulated. Ooh, extension springs. Ooh. We don't say that word around here. Tanner says, keep talking dirt tone. I'm loving those numbers, or these numbers. Eric says, get a picture of the old Genie if you can. I'd love to see the old shit. He says, I need control board for my Genie Pro 98. Genie Pro, I should look what's out there. Need a control board, huh? I should look out there what that one is. It was a Genie something. It was weird though. I think it's a white cover on it. And then there's like the clutch was either the bottom or out the front. I can't remember. It was kind of weird. It's kind of a small unit. Says, I know, Tanner, I'm pretty turned on myself. It says, Eric says, if you ever run into old Moromatic or lift door openers, Eric Freeze, I'm going to keep my eyes open for that board. Heck yeah. I've seen a lift a door. Just a Genie rebranded. I'd love to see another Moromatic. The house I lived in had a Moromatic. Is it Soxus 72 that my Holy Grail opener. There's 2 installed in my neighborhood. He says, thanks, Tony. It's interesting that all the garage door installation manuals from the door manufacturer says to nail up. That is weird. trying to think of why. The only thing I think that bracket can twist on you, right? Like when you're screwing it in, it can kind of twist, but you can kind of plumb that up with when you tighten up your track bolt. Maybe it's just something that's been written in there. They just never got rid of it. Somebody's never really caught up, or there's never been enough complaints. Nail it up. He says nail up only in the middle of winter on those really cold days to keep the heat in the garage. Other than that, track and stack, baby. They must be in bed with nail industry. Ooh, there you go. That could be lobbyist, something going on. That's very true. I know if I nail it up, he says, won't fall into the opener and get stuck in the rail and drive system. Maybe so. Maybe genies with a C-channel. Genies with a C-channel rail. Huh. This Kevin got train all the newbies to use a residential winding bar, get their half gap, kind of makes it dummy proof. I like that. Okay. Proof and trains their eyes eventually just to see the gap naturally. That's not bad. That's a good advice. I like that. Kevin grabbed a good tip. He says, I told them to use their fingers. Ow. I've seen that a lot. I've had a lot of that with noob guys, They always get their fingers in the end. We'll put a door section in, and it's like, my finger. I'm like, get it out of there. Don't belong there. And like one guy, he showed me one time. I try to practice it. I can't always. Non-insulated, or if they got struts, obviously you do it. But you grab I grab normally the hinge. So my fingerprints and everything are on the hinge so much, and the roller. And then what I do is I always remember him teaching me this: keep your hand flat. He says, and stick it under the door, where it's gonna, where it's shiplapped or tongue and groove, when you're stacking. That was always kind of good advice. I always kind of like that, that way, because I used to just grab the outside of the section. We get fingerprints on there. You gotta clean the darn thing. That's if you do. Some people don't. I don't know if Mike still makes videos, but I think he's still in business. I think he actually sells parts for old openers. Ooh, that's cool. He says, I ran into guys that wanted to argue, but had the right size fingers. So, that's good. He says, so I just took it out of the equation. That's true. That's true. That's so true. I could see that happening. So I used to use my pinky, and it's about 1/2 inch, maybe 7/16. He says it's fast measuring tool now. He says I just eye it, and in the winter I'm just not taking my gloves off. Tanner's young bull. Tanner, young bull, old bull. Oh, love it. Eric Freeze, these guys. This Genie is probably SP series. It's a real basic chain drive. It's basically what those lift door operators are based off. Well, let's see where we're at. Oh, we caught up a little bit here. Let's take a walk. Let's take a look. I just want to see what's out there. Maybe you guys know. Maybe you know, maybe don't. I think I got a camera or a light out here somewhere. I had to use at least. Come on, light, turn on. I had to use it the other night. Oh, son of a biscuit. Who stuck that track there? How dare they do that crap? Take a look at this Genie out there. Hopefully I can flip the old camera around. Oh, pitch black. Love it. Did it make it in here? It did. Peekaboo. I see you. Walk out here. Take a look at this. So dark out. Oh my gosh, it is. It's an SP, but you guys see that? That chain link. There she be. SP. SP99. Right? Oh, did I get my shirt dirty? God darn it. Walk back to where it's light. Looking for my police officer over there. I don't think he's hiding out today. Must be out doing stuff. Better make sure I put my light back. Because you know how that goes. If you don't do it now, you won't do it later. And it's a very important light. It works. It's saved my butt many times so far. Ooh. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Series. This says Eric from Minnesota. He says we have an all-pro guy that comes down 2.5 into my air installs like crap and leaves and never services. Okay. Or answers anything that goes wrong. So we have to fix it. Oh man. Says Tanner. He says, "Where are you located?" He says, "Inform people to stop using him since he never a good outcome." Spencer, Iowa, from Bilford, Iowa. Says, "Great Lakes are about to relocate our new shop in the Milford area." A different Mike because other ones is in California. The all-pro guy is from was that Mankato, Minnesota, about 2 miles north of us. Was another nuclear, says was in another nuclear plant, Will says. This week, he says 3 hours to get in. Oh. He says was escorted by 2 dudes with AR-15s. Wow. I really think they're getting a bit tighter from past events. Oh, from past events. Interesting. So Eric says, "I called it." He said, "I knew it was an SP series." Yes, you did. Says, "I will call my impact my gun." He says, "Probably not a good name to call it on the job site." That's what I always call it too. Oh man. Rich says, "Daughters did a good on the opener." They actually really did do a good job on the opener. They actually helped me out a lot because I was not, when I did that video, I was not in good shape, man. It was just the start of it. I didn't realize it was going to get that bad, but I was feeling under the weather. I already pushed that customer off a few extra days, and we finally got. I don't remember if the weather was. It was still so stinking hot. That's why in the background, I apologize for the video. It had noise, the fans. Actually, it had this guy right here that I brought with me. He's been kind of my sidekick lately, and this guy's. But I tell you what, if you want a good fan, it doesn't really sip that much electricity out of these batteries. But honestly, this thing's been really. I originally bought this for when I was up in the scissor lift, because I remember I was doing a dock door. You know, I kept thinking I was dying up there. I kept thinking if I just had something to blow on me, You know it's bad when you have somebody like work with you and just the whisk of them walking past you on a lift or them just breathing because there's oh I'm trying and you're like oh man your breath stinks but man that wind felt good breathe again can you blow on me I'm sweating so bad so I originally bought this and there's so many useful things for drying out coolers to just I've had my blower motor go bad in my truck one time so I had that on the floor blowing at me. It comes in so helpful. It's amazing. I remember originally one of the reasons I bought it too is because when you got to go number two in a bucket in your own service vehicle, it stinks, and it's nothing like having it slinger in your face. And to have somewhere you can open a window and have the fan blowing on you, so you kind of get some fresh air or whatever, is just the little luxuries of life. But like I said, I probably won't stay on here too much longer. Obviously, it's the church day tomorrow. Plus, I got to get some sleep. I can tell I'm getting droggy. He says, no, sir. He says, I actually gave up all the tools we needed because of the time it would have taken to get back. Wow. He says, that was a good video. Eric liked it. Good. I also call it a gun. He says, normally call it a impact gun. I always call it a gun. Sometimes I'll say I need the bullets, for like screws or something like that. Kids, all that, they have a hard time. I'm like, pointies, self-tapper, big self-tapper, lag. What do you guys call the wood ones? Do you guys call them lags? That's what we call them. We call the wood ones lags. They go into the track. They always looked at me like I'm like, I don't know if a lot of people call stuff dunnage. I got laughed at a lot over the years about dunnage. Be like, I need a piece of dunnage. Hey, what's that? Dunnage? I'm like, it's a piece of junk like garage door, like a section. Dunnage. You know. But that's the only way I can, instead of getting like saying, go get me a piece of scrap. Go get me a scrap door. I need a piece of dunnage. Something to, put on the bottom here or whatever. So I call it, he says, I saw a Lasco 3733 box fan from 2003 in that. Yeah. You see that old timer box fan? That thing's helped paint some vehicles. It's gone through pure hell. It's just one of those things like who buys box fans? I mean, most everything I live in nowadays, right? If it's a truck or a house or has air conditioning, so why would I want to buy a box fan? That thing has been just an old workhorse, man, and we had them cranked because we were just for some reason that building was on the sun side. It was facing south, and man, it would start cooking. And I mean, it felt like it was a 10 to 20 degree difference from going up on the ladder to coming down. The first day when Cora was with me, she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm up there." I mean, I just start dripping sweat, and she was. That's why I forgot too. I was going to tell Rich I got that cap, so I got that I don't know what it's called, a cool cap, or I got the wife to order me one, so I'll get to try that out. So thank you, Rich. Thank you, Rich B, for recommending that cap. I'm gonna see if that'll help keep some of the sweat. Because man, when I go, I just go. Tanner says I wrote 9/11. This is 45 on my DeWalt impact, so it looked cooler. Oh, that's funny. That's awesome. Oh. He says, I'm using dunnage. That's what Eric says. Dunnage. You like that? I'm using dunnage. That's what we call it. That's what we call it. Get some dunnage. A lot of times they come with our shipments of doors. They're just wood planks, basically, they use for on the bottom of the trucks. They work great for if you put an extended rack on your hitch and you're using a pickup truck. Sometimes you got to sandwich them. I've gave them to customers because they're going to put them on top of like Ford Explorers. I'm like, oh, the hell you're putting that 16-footer? Oh, it'll make it. I'll strap it. I'm like, oh. I'm like, you're going to get a piece of dunnage on there. I was like, we're not going to let that happen because you're going to, kink that door. So, I believe it's meaning of, Grandpa used to say that. They're wood. That's what the truck drivers always would call them, dunnage. I remember when they load doors, that's where I got the name from. They'd be like, you want this dunnage? And I'm like, dunnage? Yeah. I'm like, I'll take it. I was like, because we'd use it for customers, or I'd burn it, or just I'd always be nice to the truck drivers. I know they don't want to haul that thing around all day. I feel bad for some of those guys because you know how it is. They really should have two people, but they're not going to pay two people to ride around a truck. I get it. Oh, Eric, man, you collect fans too? Oh man, you have to send me some pictures of your cool fans. That's a cool. I ain't gonna lie. I kind of got a little addiction problem maybe. I have a problem with coolers. I like coolers. I like little coolers for. I don't know if it's just something that reminds me of the men back in the day that would bring coolers. Now, granted, I'm not the best one to always pack in a cooler and stuff like that. I ain't gonna lie, but I love them. I see them in garages and that. Most time I don't ask, but I'll sit there and admire them. What kind of cooler they have. I love coolers. I just think they're so cool. They're so cool. There you go. That was stupid, but that was funny. But like I said, Eric, you get a chance, always send me some pictures of those fans, man. That'd be cool to see. You know, I use a fan that I use for drying out carpets. Ooh. 60 in my garage, man. That's a lot of fans. But you're always staying nice and breezy because there's no inexpensive material used to help secure a load. And no, it's an inexpensive material used to help secure loads. That's right. Or waste material. Interesting. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off here. Love you guys. I'm glad you guys were here. Like, remember, if you guys have anything, questions, whatever, email me, text me. I see Blackberry just jumped on. He says my garage costs $26 a month to park in downtown Chicago. Oh, that's a lot. Old school lunch boxes. Old school lunch boxes. Right. Rich, you guys got anything like that? Some old school lunch boxes. I want to see them. I want pictures. I love those kind of things. All right, now you guys, that's right. I'm out. Lunch boxes, fans, garage doors. I want them. I want those old ones if you got them. All right, guys. Have a good day tomorrow. It's Sunday. Take the day off. Relax. We'll see you in the next one. See ya.